What's up, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of the Los Wise Guys podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Eslam, aka Rod God of the Sun, accompanied by Dan, Papa Sunkiller, and Danny, aka Lord Disco, with special guest Rusty, no nickname, because he's not there yet. Um, this episode is super special because it is the Los Wise Guys podcast, episode 300. I don't know how we did it for this long. We have 300 episodes. We out here. For this episode, what is the perfect way for Los Wise Guys to spend or talk about on their 300th episode, which was perfect timing. I think they did this on purpose.
They know.
The Batman
Yeah.
came out right around the time of our 300th episode, so we had to do it. Obviously, we were going to do it, the Batman review.
Yeah.
But that will come later on. So stay tuned. Disco, how was that Demon Slayer?
It was fantastic. I had the privilege this week, this very busy week I had school stuff going on, but I don't know. Somehow I found time for Demon Slayer, a random anime I just picked up again. And I
So,
was blown.
did you watch from the beginning, or were you already
Yeah,
in?
I've seen all of it.
Okay.
But like I started the season and I kind of fell off because it was kind of like starting off on the train.
Yeah.
Which is cool, but I was just like, and I was super busy. But then I finally finished it this past weekend. Wow, it was
Yep.
something. It was so good. The animation, the fights. I literally, I'm self-diagnosed ADHD. I'm always doing multiple tasking, like a bunch of stuff. But I actually put all my shit down and just started watching this shit. It was so good. I was captivated. I was at the edge of my seat, and like the
Your
animation is
brain,
just so good. I was just
your
like
brain must be
so.
on another level to be doing multiple things while watching an anime in another language and reading subtitles at the same time as doing other shit. Like
Well, most of the
you
time
like a
it's
super
like
genius.
It's like mindless work. I'll be standing or just like
Yeah.
guitar stuff where it's like second hand
Okay.
nature stuff. So, but uh, I
Muscle
literally
memory
just
shit.
I couldn't like I had to focus. Like the fights were just so cool. I really like spoilers. I really enjoyed the twins. They were
Oh yeah,
so cool.
this
Or the
season was
brother sister.
amazing.
I don't know if they were twins actually, but the
There was
demons that
older
they
brother,
fought,
younger sister.
like the main boss that they fought at the end. I just thought
Mhm.
they were such a cool duo, and everybody came together, and the characters like I was really liking them. I was really interested in them. I was like when they were getting hurt or whatever, I was just like, no, I was just
Yeah.
warming up to you, and it's like,
Dude,
you know,
so Mugen Train was a phenomenal movie, and it broke every record ever that happened in Japan when it released, right? And it released during the pandemic, and it broke box record, office records like crazy. Super awesome movie. Uh, this season, which happens right after the events of Mugen Train, the crazy thing about Demon Slayer, which I love, which I think the manga's over already, or about to be like over, the pacing of the anime, like there is literally no fat. Like it's just straight to the point. It's when I started watching the season, and within like the second episode, they're already like starting the fight with like the demon. I'm just like, holy shit, is this gonna be over in like 5, 6 episodes? Like, what's happening? But like they had me like on edge with like every episode. It was just so fucking good the way they did it. Like the pacing is crazy. Like it's almost a little too
yeah.
fast. I'm like used to being there like a little bit of time in between, but no, it was just like boom, 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 boom,
One
action, like and
a
it was
filler
just so
episode.
fucking good.
How
Like
long is Demon
nothing.
Slayer?
The episodes are like 20 minutes,
No, the whole
25 minutes.
series.
Right now, this is the third season.
All right.
So there's two seasons, a movie, and then this was the third season.
How long are the
Um,
seasons? Like how many episodes?
like 12,
Okay.
maybe. I think
Yeah, somewhere
maybe
I'm
around
almost
there.
maybe a
finished
little
with
more.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'm literally 6 episodes away, so it's like
Okay.
I'm trying to find Demon Slayer is like one of the things that might be my next. I don't know. I'm still trying to decide.
You won't go wrong with Demon Slayer. It's
Mhm.
so fucking good. And
Yeah, the
there's
story
no
is well
fillers.
told.
There's no
Oh, you know how
fillers.
much I hate filler.
Exactly. No
Yeah.
fillers. It gets to the point. The story's like the pacing of the story's pretty quick, so
Hmm.
you're just gonna get right through it.
Hmm.
And
Um,
one thing I like too is like with other animes, like as they get stronger, it's like especially with Dragon Ball Z and Naruto, even One Piece. Like once you get past a certain level, the animation comes so stupid because it's like, oh, they're like the little
yeah,
teleporting.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like there's no, you're not even watching anything. It's like, oh, they're so strong you can't see shit. And it's like, it was like I don't want to see this shit. But with Demon Slayer, they actually maintain like real. I don't know about realistic, but like just a cool sense of like the animation and the fighting styles that they use and the strategy. It's not just like, oh, I'm strong now and I can teleport fast, like I can chop you in half. Or
Yeah, their
it's
animation
like
budget is
strategy,
ridiculous.
and it's like they always have to come together in some crazy way. And
I don't
you
know
know,
if you
it's a
noticed in the first season, but there were two different animation styles. So they had like the hand drawn style mixed in with like CGI,
mm,
and there were
Hmm.
certain moments in fight scenes where that switched from hand drawn to CGI.
yeah,
That annoyed the shit out of me, because I just don't like those type of CGI where it's kind of like, I think it's like, which is like Baki Hanma, like that anime where it's
never
just like
saw
all
it.
CGI. It's just weird, like I don't know. But they switched to that. But I think they stopped doing that in this season just because their budget got a lot higher. So like they can just after Mugen Train, like.
Yeah, yeah, I
But it was
imagine.
great, yeah.
But the animation blew me away. I was like, wow, this is quality fucking entertainment. So I really thought it was worth the watch. If you guys haven't watched Demon Slayer, start that. You know, it's an amazing anime, and it's a I think it's very worthwhile. And
Highly recommended. It
yep,
was recommended to me by number one fan Henry. So shout out to Henry.
Huh.
yep,
Yeah.
I've
good
never
taste, good
actually
taste.
heard of Demon Slayer before. I'm looking up some pictures while you guys are talking about it. The
No,
Yeah,
it's a
art.
it's a huge
so
thing. Like, yeah.
it's a fantastic story, and he like the mangaka does like the demons are not like 100% like demon. They're kind of like a hybrid of like demon and vampire with the way the powers work, because it's all relates to blood. So
Yeah,
it's very
Hmm.
interesting. Like it's a combination of like oni and like vampire.
I'm
yeah,
seeing this character. She seems like a chick that has like a mouth on her hand.
Mm,
yeah.
I
All
don't
the
know if you
demons have
saw
different
that,
powers
but
too,
that,
so
that
it's
looks pretty
crazy.
sick.
yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
The
It's the
art style
main
definitely
villain
looks
at
cool.
first looks like Michael Jackson. I was like, yo, it's Michael.
Yeah,
He's got a
yeah.
hee hee to you to
Yeah, an
death.
Asian Michael Jackson. Yeah.
You start hearing that in a
um
crowd, you better run.
well, I mean I would because I'm like he's supposed to be dead. Oh
Yeah,
my
so
goodness. All
yeah,
right, let's
that
jump
was
into what's
that was
up.
a great way. That was a great anime.
No, it really was. Let's jump into what you've been playing this week. I'm gonna go
Mm.
first real quick because it's not been much. I've been working from the office this week, so I haven't had much time. But I've been playing Horizon Forbidden. No, not Forbidden West. Zero Dawn, and progressing with the storyline. I finally got that pack where I can just do unlimited travel, so I'm just like going everywhere, doing like random missions now.
Yeah.
Like and I got one more of the tall necks. So I think I have like two left. So
Mhm.
I'm
Nice. So
progressing pretty.
you've explored like most of the map.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I have like two or three tall necks left, and like two cauldrons left. So
How far do you think you are in the story?
I have no idea.
If you got
Are you
three
liking it?
tall necks and two cauldrons, I feel like you got a ways to go.
Oh,
It
okay.
sounds like you're enjoying it though.
Oh yeah, no, it's really cool. I'm loving it so far. Um, but yeah, yeah, I like the open world stuff because like I loved Zelda. I explored the shit out of Zelda, and I'm kind of doing the same thing with this one.
Zelda
Um,
was huge too, man.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. And I'm pretty sure Zelda was bigger than this one in just
Yeah.
exploration.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I don't know.
How are you feeling the combat?
It's pretty good. I got the hang of it pretty quickly, and I strategize. Like I'll fight it once. If I die, I'm just like, all right. So I kind of see it. The only one that took me a while was the digger one that goes underground and
Hmm.
comes back up. That's
Rock
the
breaker.
yeah, that's the only one that took me
Nice.
like
I've been trying to remember the name
like
of that shit for like
15
3 weeks.
tries to beat that shit for some reason. But everything
what
else I've gotten pretty quickly.
Nice.
Yeah.
what's your favorite part of the game? Like, what do you find yourself enjoying the most?
The hair, just Aloy's hair.
I do like redheads. Um, I like I just like the animals, like the robotic animals, and like
Oh,
I just think they're cool. Like it's
I thought he was about to be like the turkeys and the foxes. They're just
yeah,
so
no,
pretty.
they're
Boars.
yeah.
Oh my
I love the
God.
turkeys and the foxes.
The farm animals are amazing.
But my favorites are the raccoons. The
Mhm,
sound
mhm.
they make when I shoot an arrow through their head.
That's perfect. That's it.
Dude, in the sequel, like I made every animal like extinct. I was just murdering all of them.
Damn.
I got to the point where it's like I didn't even shoot the birds at the sky. I would jump up and just hit them with my spear.
Is that for resources or you just killing them?
Yeah.
Kill 'em?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
For me,
resources.
yeah.
Yes.
Remember I was talking about fatty meat last time?
Bird dead.
But yeah, so that's me. Disco, what you been playing?
I've been playing Vampire. I've been like kind of stuck on this. I was really gonna switch games this week, but then I don't know.
You
Something
didn't do your
convinced
homework.
me.
You didn't do
Hold
your
up.
homework, you son of a
Like
bitch.
No, I
Vampire
was
with a what?
procrastinating.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
procrastinating.
He's playing it on the Switch.
Good,
Oh,
good
you
old.
play that game?
Procrastinator.
He said people play that game.
It's Danny really is the only person I know that's played the game.
Wait a minute. On Switch, is it even the actual game or is it cloud streamed?
It's the actual game. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I didn't think they could get
Yeah, they
that. Is
did
this?
it, and it's actually a decent port. I mean, actually, I never played. I played it on Xbox for like 5% of the game, and I
Yeah.
finally finished it
Cool.
on the Switch.
Danny does
Yeah.
have the benefit of like he plays most stuff on Switch, so it's like he doesn't feel the effect that like you do if you play like
Yeah.
on a regular
I've
console.
never
so
played
it's
it
like
on another
I love
console.
seeing it through his eyes. I'm not gonna lie. Where it's
So
just
I
like
have no
he
reference.
gets to enjoy it.
So I'm just there, an
That's
innocent child. But actually, so like I was gonna say, back to Vampire. I was gonna stop playing because I was getting tired of it. But then I respec my character. I reallocated all my experience points, and then it just felt like a brand new game to me. I got to like focus in on my strategy, my fight strategy. I got to, cut off those like random experiment points. Because I was just trying all the moves to see which ones I like. So I got to really focus my character and build my stamina bar and my blood capacity, and I really got to hone in on my fight style and. It just became fun again. I was like playing, I was whipping ass, I was like beating bosses. The bosses were actually kind of challenging because I'm trying to do the no kill mode or achievement, whatever. Um, and so that's at the hardest version to play because you're not when you kill people or like bite them, you get extra experience, and which will make the game easier. So I'm actually finally on the last chapter. I'm on the sixth chapter, and I'm trying to find Harriet. I wanted to say Harriet Tubman, but that's not her name. I gotta find Harriet
She's
Tubman.
supposedly in the Underground Railroad. So,
Like that's a whole different game.
Is-
Like
isn't this like a really like dialogue heavy game and like your choices matter and stuff like
it
that?
is very heavy on the dialogue, and that's something I
Okay.
mentioned in the previous episodes where it was just like there is so much talking, and one thing, it's like you almost get as much experience from just talking to everybody than like fighting people because there's just so much talking. So it's like you'll talk to one person and this person will reveal something about another person. So it's like you go to that person and then you're like doing a lot of back and forth, like almost like investigation. It is an investigation, I guess. So yeah, I saw somebody's review. They were like, "Yeah, you should let your girlfriend play this because there's a lot of talking, there's a lot of gossip, there's a lot of tea." So I was laughing at that. I forgot where I saw it. But if I remember, I'll give credit. But he's very true that there's so much talking. Half the game, maybe even 3/4 of the game is talking. And if you like that sort of thing, like it's pretty good talking. The dialogue.
I love
good.
that
They
in
have like
games.
everyone's
So much.
talking.
Nice.
Like they have their own little voice actor, and it's not like just words popping up and like oh.
oh, okay. I thought, oh my God, like I hate the games where there's like a lot of dialogue, and there's just like the characters making sounds,
like Zelda.
like in Zelda, where they're like,
Oh,
They're like,
I'm
they got a
just like,
sim
what the
voice,
fuck is happening?
sim sounds. They're not saying real words. Like what the
No,
hell?
they're just like hmm. I was just like, why are you?
Nah,
Fucking Nintendo.
I'm fine with that. I don't mind
Yeah.
it.
Nah,
I mean,
I
not
don't like
Zelda. I don't
that.
like
Yo.
that.
I
I don't like
like,
that game at all.
especially in The Witcher, they have very good voice acting too,
Yeah.
and I appreciate that in an RPG game, especially open world where you like kind of get lost in the
Nice.
game, and
So Vampire feels
so
kind of like quality wise similar to Witcher in terms of dialogue and
uh,
ish.
it's a
Maybe not.
different style of talking.
Okay.
Uh, because Witcher, they actually give you choices and stuff. Most of the
Hmm.
Vampire is like it's preset. You just have to click it until
Oh,
like
okay.
until the last question. Then it's like a trifork where it's like you can say each one's like one might represent an angry answer or one might be like a peaceful
Kind
answer,
of
Yeah,
like
instead of
and
the
then you
Mass
kind of
Effect
choose.
dialogue trees.
So yeah, so
Yeah,
And then like
usually that
Horizon
Horizon is
kind
the
of
last
same
nice.
way.
question, usually that last question kind of sets the bar, I guess.
Okay.
And depending how you talk to people, clearly, like in real life, they'll open up more to you or like tell you, give you more hints and want to open up to you and tell you all the tea and the gossip because there's like 5 districts. Um, but like I was saying last week, I was you have to since you're a doctor in the game, you're a doctor vampire, you have to
Mm.
take care of all the people. They get actual illnesses and you have to make the medicine and you go up to them and give them the medicine, and you the
Oh.
better care you take of the citizens, the healthier the district is. And right now I've just been playing the story mode and neglecting them, so like
So
all my
can you eat
towns
your
are like,
patients?
yes, you can. um
Nice.
and they give you there's like a whole system. The more you talk to them and the more you get these hints, the more you dialogue and like rapport you get with them, the more experience they give you when you eat them. So that's how you're supposed to
That's
do it.
amazing. You got
So
you
that's
gotta
how
you gotta season
that's
them
how
up
you're
a bit first.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You gotta like marinate them and be like, oh, okay. So but there's also a depending how many people you kill, there is like 4 different endings. So I'm trying to get the ending where you don't kill anybody. It's supposed to be the hardest and the best.
Nice.
So I'm shooting for that one. And yeah, so now all my districts are pretty much like one step away from critical, which is when like all the werewolves and monsters and like creatures start just overrunning the town and killing the NPCs.
Oh damn.
So I'm trying to end this game ASAP. So 'cause my town is just whittling away very quickly, and I gotta find Harriet Tubman. She's hiding in the sewer somewhere, and
Dean, do you have any idea what we
it's
want to
been
jump
real.
to after this?
After this,
You can go
I
back and try
really
to kill
want to
those
finish.
Lionels.
I really want to finish Breath of the Wild, and
Oh
I think I'm
wow.
gonna jump between that and World War Z.
Mm,
I've been in like a
Nice.
shoot 'em up mode lately, and
mhm.
and this weekend starts my spring break. I'm going to New Jersey for 2 weeks.
Nice, nice.
Yes, actually officially like asked my professor if I could take those my week off so I can go to your wedding thing. So
Okay.
everything is situated, and I'm looking forward to that too. So it should be awesome 2 weeks.
Very cool. Yeah, you'll get to meet Nadia for the first time.
Yeah,
Oh man, thanks to COVID. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, so Dan, what you been playing this week?
I finished off Horizon Forbidden West. I got the platinum.
Oh
Nice,
wow.
nice.
Um,
Platinum. Shit.
yeah. No, I'm
Woo.
platinum games out here. Whether or not I enjoy them, that's a whole nother story. But I'm platinum. Uh,
That's commendable.
yeah, but no,
Check it.
I enjoyed it. Like I said,
Determination.
yeah, no, I talked about this is my third week now talking about this game. So it's the story is cool. It's good. There's definitely a cliffhanger where they're like, shit's gonna happen. They're setting up for Horizon next confusing name that people are gonna confuse with other names.
Okay.
And
Vertical Dawn, Vertical Dusk.
yeah, exactly. It's like between that and all the DLCs, it's like I can't remember what's what anymore. Like, but it was cool. Got the platinum, and more importantly, by getting the platinum, my overall gamer score finally got out of that bronze, because there's no way I'm a fucking bronze gamer, and I'm in the silver level now. Gamer score
Good shit.
300, where I
I got
belong, because I'm not
gamer
quite
score.
gold, but I'll take silver.
Nice,
I need to
nice.
know what I am compared to you now. I have no idea what my score is.
I mean, it's really based off of your trophies. Like if you go out and you get trophies,
Yeah.
it goes higher. But
I don't. I'm not a trophy hunter, but I just checked. I'm 367. So
nice, yeah.
you're getting there.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, you were on the PS3. I wasn't. Like that's the thing.
Yeah,
Who's on here live? He likes to
yeah.
bring it up a
It's
lot. And I was
definitely
like,
because
look at the number of games you played. Look at the number of games I played. You should
too
be
many.
much
There's not many
further
games.
ahead of me.
All right. Relax.
No, he's talking about Rudy.
I'm
Not
talking
you.
about Rudy. That applies. You know what? That applies to anybody. Just
It
everybody
applies-
who was
it
on the
applies to
PS3,
me,
you think
man.
you're all high and mighty. Ooh, look at me. I have these games that are really hard to make backwards compatible now. Ooh, everything sucks because of the PS3. Screw you. Screw you. I'm at the silver tier.
Congrats.
Thank you. And
Works hard for his money, his points.
yeah, so that's like I think that's like 24 platinums now. But
Yeah, but who's counting?
yeah,
I mean,
check out
he
my
is.
GG app. I have everything there and everything. Yeah, so I did that and I was like, all right, I want to play something else. I want to get into something I haven't gotten to in a while. And since Danny put in so much time with The Witcher 3, I thought let me get into Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh,
And yeah, it's a game. Like it crashed once. I was able to 12 characters. At one point, there was a thing in the story mode where my character was like getting glitched or something, and it lasted for a real long time. I was like, wow, I wonder if this gets fixed. I looked it up online. It was only supposed to last about 30 seconds. I dealt with it for about 2 hours.
Damn.
The crazy thing is this game is much better than it was the first time I played it. It glitched and crashed thing worse a lot more a year ago. So it has improved. It has improved.
Mine is
still
still in the
shitty.
plastic.
So it sounds like it's gone from broken to bad.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
one
that's so
step closer.
disappointing. There was so much hype on that game.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
one
and you
step
still have the
closer being
PS4
okay.
in plastic. Don't take it out the plastic. The PS5
No, I'm
version is
leaving
the
it
better
there.
version. Yeah.
No, I'm leaving it there. Maybe it'll become a collector's item.
I mean, the sad thing though is like the world is interesting. Like the story
Yeah.
is sort of interesting. I'm doing missions. It's cool. It's basically a first-person shooter RPG, and you know how much I hate first-persons and shooters, but I like RPGs, so I'm struggling with that. I don't know. I'm having fun. I mean, it's really just going to be kind of like a transitional game.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If it actually worked, do you think you would like it? Or is it
I
still
think
just
I'd-
kind of like a mediocre game or like an okay game?
For my style of like games I like and games I enjoy, I think like if this game worked the way it's supposed to, the best it could be for me is okay. I like the world, I like the setting, but I really hate the fact that you're forced to be in first person so much. I can't stand that. I've always been a third person type of guy. I can't handle it. I'm becoming an old man, and
He gets seasickness. He's like, I can't do first person.
I really do. For this game, it hasn't happened yet, but there's that. I can't do shooters. Ugh. Like it's amazing that I love Mass Effect. It involves so much, but I can't stand shooters. Like it just doesn't. My brain doesn't work that way.
Just to give my quick like angle on that too, just because I am really into first person shooters, but I'm not. I have no patience for like bad first person shooters, and it's their first time. It was CDPR's first time at a first person game. They went with first person combat. They already only had kind of serviceable third person combat with Witcher. By Witcher, it was like good, but not amazing.
Yeah, it was okay.
The first person combat is really only serves to get in your way in Cyberpunk. Whether you are into first person shooters or not, it's just very clunky feeling. My issues with that game weren't even about bugs or glitches. I didn't encounter many. I played a bit. I think I played like maybe 15 hours when it first came out, and I was like, this gameplay's not doing it for me. This world isn't doing it for me. This dialogue and these characters, they're really not doing it for me. Like I love Witcher 3. I spent like hundreds of hours in it, and it just didn't have that level of care to its characters and writing. At least from what I
the thing that's like that was crazy about this game.
Were you talking about Witcher or
Cyberpunk?
It's,
he said
it's the
he
same
liked-
studio that made both games.
okay,
That's why. Yeah.
So he was saying he played more hours in Witcher and enjoyed it way more than
I see.
For CD for 2077 like
Okay.
for 2077 when it was coming out and they were doing those weekly fucking shows
I was
and
waiting
all
for
this shit Yeah, you know how much I hated
As soon
those
as I
fucking
played the
weekly.
game, I was like, I'm gonna talk about this in the podcast, and Eslam was just gonna bring up those little shows because
Yo,
What
you
were they
had a
called? They
vendetta
were like
against
Night City Wires.
the Night City
Yeah.
Wires. Eslam
Terrible.
had a
They were
like pure
fucking-
hate for that.
they were
I
fucking
agree.
they were fucking terrible.
Yeah.
And then you built up all this hype. They were talking about like weapons and all this shit, like, oh, it's so cool. And then your game is straight up buggy and trashy. And then it's just like no wonder people were asking for their money back. And it's just
Yeah.
like you can't do like you if you're gonna do that,
Yeah.
then your game has to like bring it hard.
Oh yeah. Danny,
Yeah.
this game
You
was
know
so
what?
bad. PlayStation got to the point they're like, we're taking it off the PlayStation Store until you guys fix it.
Damn.
Yeah.
So it's like they
never
yeah,
done
for a
that
while you
before.
couldn't even buy the game, and then when it became past, on.
They should also they all just embarrass Keanu Reeves like that. That's embarrassing. They should be
Yeah.
ashamed of themselves.
Keanu Reeves got embarrassed
How
twice
dare you
too.
do
That
to
sucks.
Keanu Reeves?
Yeah, well, he did that game embarrassed him, and that fucking
What
the movie that came out,
Matrix?
Bill and Ted?
yeah, the Matrix
No.
movie.
Oh,
embarrassed
let's be
the shit
real.
out of him, too.
When was the Matrix ever good? It was always trash.
Back in
Whoa.
1999
Always
when it
trash.
first came out.
Whoa.
The
Like,
Matrix when
Die
it came
Hard.
out was badass.
Let's relax.
I rented it from Blockbuster. It was one of the first
Like-
DVDs I ever put into my PlayStation 2, and I was like, wow, this is really not good.
You know, I'll
Really
give
not
you
good.
it. The second and third aren't the best, but I really like the
I
first
love
one.
the second one.
I'm not gonna get triggered by this.
It's fine,
He's
guys.
like,
We all
"Who's
have
on?"
different opinions. I think the Matrix is just hot garbage.
Funny if Rusty just punches the shit out of his iPad.
That new
Fuck you
Matrix
guys.
was the new Matrix was trash though. I'll admit. You know,
I didn't see it.
Oh, I didn't
Don't
watch that
watch
shit. I'm
it.
talking about the
Don't
first
watch
one.
it.
I'm talking about the first one.
Also, I didn't watch the third one, so I still got two more to go.
Clearly, I'm the biggest. fan
Man,
of the
finish
Matrix
that
here.
trilogy.
The new Matrix was bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, it was
So
horrible.
that sucks
It
for
was-
Keanu Reeves. But in other good news, he's gonna be the new voice of Batman in Super Pets.
So you take that seriously as Batman?
What?
Saying Keanu Reeves is going to be the voice of Batman is the same as saying like Will Arnett is the voice of Batman, right? Like,
I mean,
You
Will
don't
Arnett
really
was the
have-
voice of Batman, though.
Yeah, yeah.
do you see him as a Batman though?
But would you
I
call
just-
him Batman?
His voice as Batman. I put Kevin Conroy as the best Batman ever.
Yeah, yeah.
I agree,
You know?
but it's not about just voice. I mean, he's a comedy gag.
Yeah, no, it's
character.
funny.
Not
I
really.
don't-
It's
yeah.
not really Batman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's
Michael
fair.
Keaton wasn't the guy, and then
What are you doing?
All right, but let's
Yeah.
table the.
yeah,
I
we'll get to the Bat.
I apologize for bringing up Keanu Reeves as Batman.
Yeah,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ, let's move on.
Derailed us.
He's got a jump in.
It's all,
How dare you even?
He's trying to.
no, it's all good. Fuck the Matrix.
He's
though.
like, but he's
Really.
not the real Batman.
Fuck the Matrix, though.
That's fine.
All right, yeah, let's jump. Rusty, what
Rusty,
you
what
been
have you
playing?
been playing?
Oh, I'm sorry, you're done, Dan.
Yeah, I'm
I've
done. I've been playing shit. I will. That's all I want.
Wait. So I thought you had been playing Elden Ring too, or no?
No,
No,
I
he
ain't
hasn't
Elden Ring.
played it yet.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
So yeah, I've been playing a lot. So last week I was playing full on Horizon Forbidden West. Got it day one, and I had to choose between that and Elden Ring. My friend's been like a big Souls fan since like 2009, starting with
Mhm.
Demon Souls, and he was all over that. But yeah, I decided to go with Horizon. Decided to go with Aloy. I really liked the first game. It had its faults, but yeah, I was trying to get into Forbidden West, and I was liking it for I want to say like 10 hours or so, 10, 11 hours. The world felt properly like huge. It had a lot of quality of life improvements over the first game. Graphically, it is just beautiful, like on the technical level. Draw distance is crazy, resolution is crazy, frame rate's crazy. Like everything about it is beautiful and technical. But then I was like, this dialogue is just, it really started draining me. The dialogue was draining me. All of like the side quests and like the side quests didn't feel entertaining to me or important to the main story.
Yeah. I feel
Um,
only like a few stuck out to me, but overall, no.
And like the dialogue, I've gotten really tired of the dialogue because it doesn't really feel like I'm interacting with people. It feels like they're giving information to me, and my dialogue choices are give me more information or continue the quest.
Yeah, yeah,
And I'm really tired of that. I'm a huge fan of Mass Effect. Like,
yeah.
I want to be able to react to what you're telling me and control where the conversation goes the way someone would in real life. So it's like, it starts just feeling like trivia being thrown at me. And I started skipping dialogue and stuff. And I
Yeah,
don't want
that's
to have
what
to do that.
that's literally what I started doing in
Yeah. Like,
Zero Dawn. Like
if I
once I
get to a
realized that
point,
like it like none of what they say matter to like the mission, I'm just
yeah.
like, all right, X. Let's
And,
get through this.
yeah. So I had told myself, I'm like, I have to beat Horizon before I even think about buying Elden Ring. And then I was 25 hours into Horizon, and I was like, this is a chore. And I'm looking over at my friend, and he's just having the time of his life in Elden Ring. And then my other friend pulls the trigger. He jumps into Elden Ring. They start screen sharing with each other. They start texting each other in the group chat about how much fun they're having. And the FOMO got to me, and I was like,
And you're
fuck
over
it,
there,
just
kill the Thunderjaw.
did I want to kill it? I don't. And so yeah, this starting this like past weekend, I think I jumped into two things. I jumped into Elden Ring, and I jumped into Gran Turismo 7.
Hmm.
And
87
I
on Open Critic, guys.
starting with Elden Ring, I'm absolutely in love with it, and this is coming from someone who has bought Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne, Sekiro, Demon Souls. I've bought all of these. I've spent
Just
maybe like
torturing yourself.
at least 20 to like 30 hours in each of those games, and I'm like, I can't fucking do it. It's something about it is not grabbing me enough to want to keep coming back to it. And then Elden Ring just fucking got me. It's because
Nice.
Elden Ring has it was never about it being too hard. It was very hard, and I did die a lot, but that didn't like deter me. It was just um, the worlds felt very linear. I couldn't wrap my head around like the way that they convey story, and I didn't like that kind of mysterious and abstract storytelling in a very linear fashion that made me like repeat areas so much. And Elden Ring fixes all of that just by giving you like the magic of the like Breath of the Wild open world, and it's in such great contrast to Horizon that like there's barely any speaking in Elden Ring, and yet the world feels so fucking rich and alive and like handcrafted, and you just I don't know, it feels so much more alive than Horizon's world, even without any talking. It like stripped away all of the fat, um,
Nice.
and you get to just focus on like everything you do feels like you're the one discovering it, you're the one exploring it for the first time. Very like if you've ever felt that magic of Zelda, this is just Breath of the Wild with really solid combat, making you work for beating those bosses and getting that like excitement when you finally do defeat the bosses. And yeah, that's pretty much. So me and two of my friends, we've been screen sharing. We do picture in picture while we're playing. We can see where
Nice.
the other one is, and we sit on chat together, and we help each other. Like if someone's done a dungeon already, and I'm going in for my first time, they'll give me some tips or something. And it's not true multiplayer in that respect. We even do a couple times we did jump into a game together for like a proper co-op. But even more fun than that is just talking to each other while we're playing in our own separate worlds. It's
So
it's a
there's a
great time.
co-op. You can like play
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, you can go co-op. There's a lot of restrictions on co-op. So in many circumstances, it might end up even being harder for you to beat a big boss if you bring in a friend, because it limits how much you can regain health. It limits how much magic you can use. It limits how much damage you're putting out. So it really,
Yeah.
really
So it impacts your
debuffs you.
gameplay. Yeah.
Yeah. But it is fun to just stick around with a friend in co-op and you do like emojis at each other. I mean, emotes and shit. But yeah, so that's been fantastic. And then when I'm not playing Elden Ring, I'm getting a couple races in Gran Turismo, and that game is just like, for me, it's like the definition of like a polished package. Like I feel good spending the fucking $70 on that game.
Back to Elden Ring before you
Yeah,
transfer.
yeah.
How's that? How's the gameplay like the fighting like?
I'm a really big fan of it. I don't know how much experience you have with previous Souls games.
Not really.
I would come. Okay, so
I always like to say they make you want to rip your dick off.
they have different types. So the Dark Souls gameplay vibe is very much defense first, kind of a slower paced back and forth between you and the enemy. You're trying to like read their attacks and just learn when to block, when to dodge, and then go in for your attacks.
So timing, like really
Yeah,
get that timing right.
Yeah, exactly.
So very,
Can
very
you
like
can
So it's
you
super
very
hard
meticulous.
version.
Yeah.
So
One
like a
thing-
super duper harder version of Ghost of Tsushima.
one thing that
No,
I do have?
if you wanted to say super harder version of Ghost of Tsushima, you'd be looking at Sekiro, which is another one of their games.
Okay.
It's because both Sekiro and Ghost of Tsushima are offense based and aggression based. And I wouldn't say that this isn't aggression based. This is
Okay.
mostly defense based and kind of
It's like
just
really
getting
reactive.
the rhythm down.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
When you said there's powers, like one thing that I guess I have reference to is like Witcher, and one thing I didn't like with Witcher is like you can only use one power at a time, or like if you want to switch powers, you literally had to go to the menu and like manually switch it. Whereas in like Vampire, you can have like the trigger buttons each are their own power, which I thought is like much better. I like the multi having a button for its own power.
Yeah, you're
How's the
definitely
gameplay
gonna
in that
be
regard?
you'll be very frustrated with the way that any FromSoft game handles swapping different powers, different stats, different inventory items. It's all cumbersome. It's all overly complicated for no reason. Most of it's not explained to you. You have to look it up or have a friend explain it to you. And it's gotten to the point that like I think it's totally fair to see that as a flaw in the game, but they've kind of doubled down on it so much over the past like more than 10 years now that it's become like kind of the charm of their series. So you either click with it or you don't. And I'm right there with you for a long time. I've been like, the fuck is this? Like, learn how to make a game. Right? Nothing about this is like user friendly. Why are you doing it this way? So far, I would say that for anyone that kind of knows the amount of overcomplication that they expect from a From Software game, Elden Ring is a pleasant surprise in that it is easier to get into, and it's less punishing than their previous games. I think that's a big reason that it's getting as popular as it is. You can it doesn't feel like you're just really getting stomped on. Yeah, you're gonna die probably several times, but you feel yourself getting better each time, and nothing feels kind of like a bullshit kill. Like out of nowhere, you just get like one hit by something. For the most part, it feels more balanced and a little more fair to the player. So I think that's a big part of why it's blowing up.
I do have one question.
Hmm.
Earlier this week, I got once again shout out to Henry. He was playing Elden Ring, and Rudy and I jumped into his gameplay. We were share playing, and he's out there. It does seem fun. I don't know if it's really my bag, but it seems cool. And I have a question because I was giving Henry so much shit. Because he kept saying that there are these walls, and he would take a sword and hit a wall, and nothing would happen. And I'm just like, there's no fucking hidden walls. You're fucking me. He's like, no, there's hidden walls. And he was doing this for like a good like 45 minutes, and he just kept on. He's like, no, there's a hidden room here. It's in the game. I'm like, okay, sure it is.
I mean, one
It's
of
like
the things
Mario,
that,
you have to jump at the invisible like block.
yeah,
Because he just kept on doing it every 5 seconds. Like, I think there's okay.
Those do exist, but
Okay.
but the big thing that happens is that so in all these games, you've always been able to you can write down notes on the ground.
Oh, I
and
did see that.
Those notes show up in everyone else's games.
Yeah, it's pretty
so
cool.
it's like a kind of a multiplayer communication. So one of the big things that happens,
Like the peeing thing on.
like the ping thing in Death Stranding, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Or like, yeah, there's a lot of overlap with how that stuff works in Death Stranding. But essentially, you'll see a lot of notes that are dropped right at a wall, and it'll just say like hidden wall ahead, or like hidden room ahead, or like keep swinging, keep attacking, and it's not. It's a wall, and they're just fucking with you.
Because the first thing I thought of is like when I saw that and he explained the same thing to me, I was like, oh, dude, if this was me, I should put random lyrics to like 80s songs like all over the place just to fuck with people. Like,
they do, and they did. Yeah, they control it. You can't write anything you want. You have to pick from like there's different templates and different words that you can choose, but people find ways to turn that into silly shit.
Yeah.
He's like,
Nice.
"Welcome to the jungle."
All right. Yeah. Elden Ring sounds pretty awesome. I will get into it in like a couple of years eventually.
I think you could enjoy it if you go into a little open minded. If you like Zelda, I think anybody who liked Breath of the Wild and feels pretty comfortable with the controller for some combat, I think you can get into Elden Ring.
Okay,
Not
that
for me
sounds
then.
good.
And then, and
Have you
then
killed
last
Um,
thing,
any
I just want to
Lionels
touch
this week
on
though?
go
no,
ahead.
no lie. I just want to talk about Gran Turismo really quick.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I've also just never been a huge fan of sim racers or Gran Turismo for that matter. I've played Gran Turismo on PS3 and on PS4, and it didn't hold my attention for long because it really didn't have like a good sense of speed to it. Everything felt like a little too technical, and it felt flat or like kind of
Mhm.
boring to me. Gran Turismo 7 just fixes all that. The DualSense feels fantastic. The graphics are insane. The level of detail is amazing, and the graphics are insane in a way. I also have Forza um, Horizon 5, and they're both beautiful games in different ways. Um, Forza Horizon is beautiful, kind of similar to the way Horizon Forbidden, Horizon Forbidden West is. Like it's just very saturated, big valleys, mountains, beautiful skies. So like the whole environment looks really beautiful all around you. Whereas like Gran Turismo is just like perfect detail on like a controlled course.
Mhm.
You have amazing lighting, amazing reflections, you like amazing detail in the surfaces, and yeah, I don't know. The physics are great. Um, the car, like you feel and you see the suspension of the car. You can feel when you're like skidding out. You can really get a vibe, and it has linear progression, which I really love. So I start with like a shitty little hatchback, and I work my way up, and so I feel like I'm getting better and better as I go.
Nice.
Um, I'm really digging it. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Oh, that's great, man. Um, all right, let's jump into news. Dan, you want to start us off with your wrestling?
Absolutely. Uh, so just gonna do some stuff real quick. Stone Cold Steve Austin's gonna be at this year's WrestleMania. Uh, they did not say he's gonna wrestle.
Hmm.
It looks like they were doing a workaround, so he's gonna be there. I'm sure it's gonna get physical. People are gonna get hit with stunners. He's gonna drink some beer. Sure, it's
Yep.
it's Stone Cold. He's got to do Stone Cold stuff. Everybody's gonna like it anyway. Man's the wrestling god. Um, and there was a pay per view, AEW Revolution.
Oh, all right.
Eslam,
Yeah, I saw some of
you
your
know
tweets about
Revolution
that.
very well.
Yeah, I
Um,
do. That shit was ridiculous.
dude, this Revolution was insane. The buy-in
Was there a
show.
revolution during pandemic?
Yeah, this is the third one.
Okay, so we
Yeah,
went to the first one.
we went to the first one. Yep, that was
Okay,
2020. Then 2021. This was the 2022.
okay.
Yep. But yeah, dude, it was the buy-in, which is just like the pre-show that I mean, if you wanted, you could watch like on YouTube. Like anybody could just go on YouTube and watch it. That was good,
Yeah.
and then they just led into the main show, and I'll just go through highlights real quick. Like Jericho was going against Eddie Kingston, he's like this underground indie guy to the big time till AEW. And it was cool because you have like he and Jericho, who both are veterans. They're going back and forth, and he freaking makes Jericho tap, which is
Oh wow.
insane. Like everybody lost their minds when Jericho taps to him. After that, there was the tag title match. 3 different tag teams. You had the Young Bucks.
I mean, it's cool that. Sorry to cut you
Yeah, go
off.
for it,
It's cool that Jericho let him tap him. Right. You
dude.
know, it's
Jericho is doing everything the right way. I'm
as a big of a star as he is, you'd think he'd be like, no, I'm not letting this no name tap me, and he's given someone the chance to
yeah.
become big, which is awesome.
This
So
Jericho
I,
is
I
really
love to
good.
hear that.
There's
What's
no
up, Dan?
ego, it's sportsmanship.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
Jericho, he truly is like a locker room leader. Like he's ever since day one, like he's been a big back and just like, hey man, I'm gonna do everything I can to elevate this company, and he has. So it's great, and their feud is continuing. So it's can't wait
That's
to see
great.
that Jericho's little group, the faction broke up.
Yeah.
The next,
Oh damn.
yeah, he broke them up and he started up a new one. But anyway, so there's that. Then you had the tag title match between the Young Bucks, the Jurassic Express, which is just the funniest name ever. That team is made up of Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, and they were going up against Red Dragon.
Somehow that makes perfect sense.
It really does. It really does.
Luchasaurus, Jesus Christ.
And
Wait, does he have a
Luchasaurus,
mask?
yeah, of course he
Is
does.
he lucha libre? Okay.
He's like a 7 foot tall giant with a green tongue and a mask.
Okay, now his name makes even more sense.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, at one point he did a kip. No, what was it? The two guys from Red Dragon, I think it was, knocked him down. He's on. He grabs their throats like Undertaker would, and then he doesn't sit up like Undertaker. He kips up because he's a
Damn.
7-foot tall dinosaur. He kips up and then choke slams the shit out of them.
Jesus Christ.
Dude's a
Man, that's some
monster. One of his
athleticism. That
oh
sounds
he
crazy.
he also does parkour. Like Source is amazing.
How is a 7-foot guy doing parkour? Like,
He just walks.
It's from one building to the other.
yeah.
I might be exaggerating. If he's not 7 foot, he's like 6'9" or something, but he's still
Like,
huge.
like if he's doing parkour while he's that big, like
Yeah.
the ridiculous
Yeah.
pressure that he's putting on his joint must be immense.
That's one thing I'm upset about, Eslam. And you didn't get Revolution.
Okay.
He sat in the crowd. There was a group of guys that were sitting in the crowd at the show. That was Jurassic Express. But anyway, they retained the titles. They are still champions. Jurassic Express are still champs. After that, we had the Face of the Revolution ladder match, which was just so good. In the words of Big E, there was a lot of just big meaty men slapping meat, and it was amazing. It was phenomenal.
It was amazing.
You had these huge. One of them being Keith Lee. I'm rocking the Keith Lee shirt. King of all Saiyans, Keith Lee. Orange Cassidy was in the match, and Orange Cassidy shit, and it was amazing. I don't know if you saw the one thing I put on Twitter, where you had two guys that were holding up the ladder. Oh no! Orange Cassidy takes the ladder, puts it over his head, and just starts spinning around and hitting everybody with the ladder. And then two guys just grabbed each end of it, lifted it up. So then he grabs it and then flips over onto the ladder while it's sideways and tries to grab the ring up top.
Damn.
And then Keith Lee threw him like 30 feet out of the ring, and he was out of the match. But it was great. Wardlow won.
Dude
that.
went to another state. No shit.
Yeah.
He was out of the match.
He threw him
I
so
feel
hard.
I feel like I can't watch wrestling, but I can listen to you talk about it all day. It's
real.
so fun when you talk about it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I gotta
man.
agree.
So there was that. Then we had Jade defending the TBS championship against Ty Conti. She came out dressed as Jade from Mortal Kombat. So
Nice.
you won me over. Your name's Jade. You're dressed like Jade. It was great. And then she kissed her in the middle of the match. Everyone's like, "What the fuck is?" Right after, it was insane. After that was over, I'm not doing a lot. We had CM Punk versus MJF in the dog collar match. A dog collar match. You have a collar on your neck. There's a chain in between. And you can try to murder your opponent. That's a dog collar match.
Okay,
There's a lot of history that goes into this. One of the coolest fucking things was MJF comes out and he first you hear CM Punk's theme song, so everybody's like, "Oh my god, CM Punk." Then you just then MJF's like, "Nah, fuck you guys, it was me all along." And then everything like starts going black. Smoke starts coming up, and CM Punk comes out to his old Ring of Honor theme song, and he's wearing his
nice.
old school gear from when he was like a rookie, because now Tony Khan owns Ring of Honor and he could play the
Yeah.
music. Dude, people were crying, like everybody's singing his song. They're all chanting.
God.
It was like the coolest fucking moment in the world. And then they went to hell. Like they were both covered in blood. There was thumbtacks all over the place. In the end, CM Punk wins. He beats MJF. Phenomenal. Then we had freaking Bryan Danielson versus John Moxley.
I like how each one.
Just kept on elevating.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
Exponentially getting
Yeah.
crazier and crazier and crazy. It's ridiculous that they can keep doing this every
Dude,
year.
AEW is just insane. So they had versus John Moxley, just two pure violent, amazing wrestlers. Brian, the storyline is Brian's just like, "Hey, we should be a team. We could work together and we could teach the young kids, or we could just fucking." And Moxley's like, "Fine, I'll do it, but you have to fight me first. I only team with people who bleed with me." And they fucking bled in this match. It was just so much blood, so much violence. At the end, Moxley wins. Brian had him in a submission hold, and Moxley kind of outmaneuvered him and had his shoulders pinned to the mat, and Brian couldn't get out. So he wins 1, 2, 3. And okay, are they going to form a team or not? They start fighting, and who fucking comes out? William motherfucking Regal. He's now in AEW, and he comes out.
Oh yeah, I saw your post about that.
And this man, and on Twitter, I said this man just turned into an angry father and made them
Yep.
shake hands, and it was the
Yeah.
most amazing thing in the world. Like he headbutted John Moxley and had Moxley's blood on his face, and then Brian's in him. He fucking hits Brian. He's like, "Fucking shake hands right fucking now." And they're like, "Okay." It was so cool. So they're a team now, and
Nice.
that's like if there's ever been a super team. All right, I'm gonna talk about two more. After that, we had I don't even remember who was in this match. It was a freaking tornado tag match. A million wrestlers were fighting. Um, Sammy Guevara jumps off this giant ass platform, and Eslam, I think you liked it on Twitter, and they just crashed through this table. Sammy Guevara and someone else, I can't remember who, and they just looked like they were dead. And then after that, Sting, 62-year-old Sting, decides I can top that. I'm gonna go into the crowd, jump off the balcony, and go through 3 fucking tables at the age of 62.
Jesus Christ! Off the balcony?
Yeah, in the
What is
crowd.
that, like 30 feet?
Dude, it's on my Twitter timeline. Go back and just look at it. Sting is
Holy
insane.
fuck.
He's just like, I don't care how
Wait,
old
where
I am.
was the show held?
Oh man, I don't know. I
I'm
can't.
just,
tell
I'm
you.
just,
He
I'm
went through
trying
like
to
3
picture the
stacked
arena.
tables, is what you're saying?
Yeah, there were tables stacked on top of each other. There was about 7 of them. I think I want to say he cleared 3 to 4 of them.
Oh my god.
But yeah, he just jumped through them because that's Sting. Sting. Speaking of
Yeah.
wrestling gods, Sting is one of them.
How
Then
does bleeding work?
what's that?
How do they control bleeding? How much is okay and how much isn't okay? I don't.
I mean, it depends on how hard they either one they bleed the hard way, which kayfabe corner guys, that means you legit get hit and you start bleeding, or you cut yourself. You get a blade or a shiv or something, and then you cut yourself, and then you because you're
Okay,
running
to
around, you
open
have
up during the fight. Okay.
you go yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know
We
they
learned
did
that Punk is a
so
really good
they-
bleeder.
Yeah, so a while back, Dan explained to us sometimes because they usually have yeah, and they'll put like a
It could
a
be a
razor
number
blade.
of things. It could be a razor blade, sometimes glass. It could be like a number of
Wow.
things
And
that
then,
would cut.
and like when they fall, they'll like do it real
Yeah.
quick. And
Okay. So
Yeah,
that's
if you're
what-
ever
yeah, I
watching
was
a show,
wondering,
you see
where does
one
the
guy.
technique come in on that?
Yeah, you ever see a guy like get
That's
hit with a
cool.
chair or something, and then they focus on the one guy who's cheering? At that moment, the other guy on the ground is like just giving himself a quick cut. Or another thing they do a lot of times, if it's a younger wrestler who's not used to cutting himself, the referee will do it for him. So it's like while they're on the ground, the referee's checking on him. What the referee's actually doing is
Yeah.
just giving him a gash, and then
fucking
they
giving
get
him
up.
$150.
I never knew that. That's fucking
Yeah.
cool.
That's
All
Oh, dude, there's a lot.
There's
And then
no,
there was
there's no, they don't care like COVID or anything. It's just like fucking bleed all over each other.
No,
I
I
mean,
just drink my blood, man.
they're all they all claim like they're all checked on and stuff like that. It's not it's not like every match does it. Like WWE doesn't allow cutting anymore, or so they say. And it's here. They're like AEW does a lot more bleeding than them. Then you have companies like GCW which just use light tubes, staplers, and pizza cutters, and it's just all full of blood. Great company. And anyway, the main
Yeah,
event
they
you
just
had.
murder people. It's
They
fucking
really
fantastic.
do. They really do.
Don't mind that real dead body.
You have I can't remember his name right now, but he's a legend. He basically says that he's the head of the murder death kill gang. Like
That's like that's like every synonym.
yeah, I know. I'm so mad I can't remember his name right now. He's dude, he's amazing. Anyway, main event: Hangman Adam Page versus Adam Cole Bebe, and they're going back and forth. And the crowd had so much fun with this match because they're both named Adam, and the fans just said chant you could think of with the name's Adam. Like, let's go, Adam. Adam sucks. And they're going back and forth with dueling chants. At one point, instead of chanting "We want like fight forever," they start chanting "Adam forever." They're just anything you could think of with a chant with the name Adam. And while that's happening, the fans are just being ridiculously stupid. Like these guys are going back and forth, putting on like in a phenomenal main event. In the end, Hangman Adam Page, he hits the buckshot lariat. He takes out Adam Cole. He retains the title. And that was just such a good fucking pay-per-view. Put that right on the camera.
I'm loving that.
Right on the camera.
Like the biggest fucking like gallon of juice. It's like, watch me do this right now.
I got the nutrition facts on that.
Oh, man.
It's a lot of sugar, Disco.
What's it called? So that was the pay-per-view. Then I'll say real quick on Dynamite yesterday, on Wednesday. There were 2 people who debuted in AEW. One, Van Zant, MMA fighter. Looks like she's going to be involved in a storyline coming up. Also, it finally happened. Fucking Jeff Hardy's in AEW. His brother Matt was getting kicked out of his group. He was getting beat up. Sting, even though he was 62 years old and went through 3 tables, was able to rescue Matt, along with Darby Allin, who likes to go in car crashes and be basically They're coming out, and they weren't enough. So Jeff Hardy makes his debut. He comes out, and right before he saves his brother, he still decides to stop at the ramp and do his like little dance. And then he goes and then he saves Matt. But,
He's like, wait, let me pop this off real quick.
Yeah, it's like his brother's just getting beat to death. He's like, I gotta do this, guys. I gotta do this,
It's
guys.
like, this is how I power up.
And he got to keep his WWE theme, which is cool because WWE doesn't own it, so it's awesome.
Awesome.
And that has been Powerbomb Weekly.
Yes, it is. Before we move forward, I just want to. So Dan mentioned kayfabe a couple times. Rusty, I don't know if you know what kayfabe is, but kayfabe is the terminology that wrestlers use. So heel means bad guy, face means good guy, and things like that. So we do like a segment. We did like a couple of times on the podcast, like kayfabe corner, where Dan mentions these terms, and we have to guess what they mean.
Okay.
And then he did a Japanese edition one where he named Japanese wrestlers, and we had to guess if they were real wrestlers or not. He would just say random Japanese names.
Actually,
that one was
Rusty,
actually really fun.
I got one for you. Dick Togo,
Real
wrestler or not?
real wrestling.
It 100% is. 100%. He gets it. He gets it.
So Disco and I did a kayfabe corner
Really good.
of our own last week, and the reason why I bring this up because I did architecture terms.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I
It was
asked.
Yeah,
wow.
Dan did a really good job. It was actually really funny. Go check it out. See if you can like
Yeah, see if I can get any
spot
of
the
those.
ones that I made up and
Yeah, what do you have? You had like a swarming buttress or some shit? I forgot what it was.
crawling
buttress.
crawling buttress.
I just really strongly felt like that buttress should not be crawling. So I was like,
Butcher should stay
Oh
put.
man, it was good. It was good. In that same episode, Danny was doing musical
Music
technology.
theory.
Yeah, music
Oh,
theory. So it's like we're trying to guess what is legit, what isn't. This man's coming out with the Floridian mode and shit.
I invented the Floridian mode.
Got that shit wrong twice on the same episode, bro.
In like 2
I'm
minutes.
proud of myself. Within like a span of 2 minutes, I forgot what I had said.
Good times. Good times.
That sounds awesome.
But yeah, so let's move into our news, Disco. I got a couple of quick ones. This is some bad news for me, I guess, but at least it's not super bad news. Forspoken has been delayed to October. Thank God it's still coming out within this year because
Is
I
it?
really want those points.
Is
Fuck
it?
you, Dan. They better come
Yo.
out this year.
Who told? Are you just tricking Eslam into putting shitty games on his list?
No, he's doing that all by himself.
No, I'm
He's
really
doing
good at
that
that.
all by himself. I look
Wait,
at
you
it
think
every week. I'm like,
Forspoken
what is
is
this
gonna be
man doing?
You think Forspoken is going to be a shitty game?
Yeah,
You don't gotta
I
answer
think
that.
we know.
You don't gotta answer
it's
that.
going to be a bad game.
He said, "Yeah."
Damn.
I don't know how
This-
Eslam's just so good at picking the like zeros and like the low.
Yeah.
games.
Listen, I'm
Not
not.
for nothing. Henry's doing pretty bad right now.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm not the one who has like negative 17 points right now.
I
on
was
the game.
so
Give me
gonna
some of the
counter
other
pick that
games you have
Babylon's
on your
Fall.
list.
What happened, Rusty?
Oh my god! Give me some other games you have on your list that you have your hopes on.
Don't
So-
you dare give him any fucking ideas, Rusty.
Martha's dead.
Well, I did pick Martha's Dead. I thought it was a cool concept, but it just ended up being a bad
Yeah, that one was rough.
Bad pick.
A bad game.
no, like a bad what's the fucking word?
Draft.
Execution. I think the story's cool. The concept is cool. They just execute it very badly. Let me pull up the Fantasy Critic 1 second, so I can tell you what. my
I
games
tried
are.
to give him ideas back when he was first drafting, and he didn't want to take my advice.
I
Well,
already got
actually-
it, Eslam.
You got Ghostwire
Yeah, go for
Tokyo. You got
Oh, you got
Tunic, Stray, Thirsty Suitors, Forza Motorsport, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Have a Nice Death, Cult of the Lamb, Martha is Dead, Mario Strikers Battle League, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
He also has Redfall and Lord of the Rings Gollum.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have a bunch of 2023 games in there.
You don't gotta say that. You don't have to say these things, Rusty. Let the man play the game.
Can he change? Can he?
I
change
can
his
drop them.
games
Yeah.
then?
Well, I'm dropping
can
Have a
drop
Nice Death
in-
because I already dropped Have a Nice Death because it's not coming out and it didn't show
Oh.
points like we were.
Yeah, I
while
gotta
we
take care
were-
of that.
Yeah.
He can drop
it
and
let me
draft,
drop
but
it.
most of the good stuff is gone already.
Yeah. But yeah, so I guess Forspoken is not gonna make it this year. That would suck.
Who's got Trek to
Maybe it
Yomi?
won't. Maybe it will. Who knows?
Trek to Yuma.
Yo,
Trek to
I think
Yomi.
that's
Jonathan has it.
Jonathan.
Oh,
Okay.
Trust me, I
Just
checked.
wondering.
Trust me,
Yeah.
I definitely checked.
That one, I guess that one is that one gonna be good or like what's happening?
It might
game's
not be.
gonna.
It might not be the best, but
I'm
so
thinking
far everything
80.
about it is very promising. Yeah, 80,
Okay.
80 seems right. Um,
Um,
Oh yeah,
cool.
Trek to
You
Yomi.
got some good ones in there. Ghostwire might be good.
Mm,
yeah,
mm.
Stray hopefully is good.
yeah,
Stray hopefully
straight.
is
That's what I'm.
2022.
Yeah,
Everybody's been really quiet about that game. I don't.
yeah, that's what
They
I'm hoping.
confirmed
Stray's gonna
2022, but
hit. Stray's gonna
then they
hit. You
stayed
should keep
quiet.
that on your list.
Oh, I'm definitely keeping it on my list.
I think it
100%.
will.
Don't
Yeah.
get rid of that. Keep that on your list.
All right, I'm moving on with my news. A live-action God of War TV series is reportedly in the works,
Mhm.
by Amazon
Yep.
Studios. The
You
Batman
said God
TV
of War?
spin-off, yeah, the Batman TV spin-off series GCPD is not moving forward at HBO Max. It has
Thank
been
God.
evolved into an Arkham series, and we will get to talking about that
Thank
more
God.
when we review the the movie. So I'm done with my news. Disco, you want to jump into yours?
Okay, yeah, to piggyback off your Batman news, HBO Max is releasing a Penguin series, a limited series. I guess based off that movie, they're like, let's jump on it, let's lock it down. So they're Colin Farrell's reprising his role, and we're getting, a deeper glimpse into Gotham. And I'm all for these types of shows. I just am a big show person, so I'm the type of person you throw whatever you throw at me, I'm probably gonna watch, and I'll be like, oh, that was shitty, but I'll watch it. uh, so I'm looking forward to it. Although, no, I'll save it for later.
Okay.
Can
Um,
Can we
And
talk about this God
so
of War show for a second?
yeah. What's up?
Or I don't know if we're. I just want to get your guys' thoughts. Have you all played God of War?
you
I
do
have
you
not.
think it's
It's
gonna
on
come
my
out
list.
this year?
You don't
No,
need to.
no,
You don't need to
no.
answer that.
No.
Rusty, you're
Wait,
fucking
wait.
killing me. You don't need
No,
to
no, no, no,
answer
no,
Any
that
no.
question.
I'm not
So
talking.
Disco
I'm not.
has the
I'm
God
not
of War
talking.
game.
I'm not talking about the game.
Oh, okay.
I mean the show's definitely not coming out for a
No,
while.
no, of course not.
I
They
don't
Definitely
said
not.
it's
know.
reportedly in the works. It's not coming
I,
out
I
this.
I was just wondering what you guys' thoughts are on a Amazon production God of War TV show, or if you're just like, cool,
Well,
why not?
the way their Amazon production Lord of the Rings show looks like, it looks pretty good from what we've seen so far. I'm interested to see it. So if they put that same amount of money into this,
Yeah,
it could be
that's
something
true.
good. But
And
we won't
just
know how good the Lord of the Rings show is until September. So we'll see what
to
happens.
Yes.
to piggyback off Amazon,
And Wheel of Time wasn't that bad.
Wheel
So
of Time was decent, and I've also really liked their show Invincible. I thought
Hmm.
even though it was an animation, I thought it was a really good
That one's
show.
solid.
Invincible's great.
Very solid.
And the boys.
yeah, The
The
Boys was
Boys,
fantastic
yep.
too.
Mm.
And they're
Yeah.
having a boys animated show with the people that did
I
Invincible coming out.
I don't know if you guys watch The Expanse, but it's from the team that
Hmm
produces The Expanse, and they're
Yeah, I
pretty
love The
good.
Expanse. It was
The
fantastic.
God of War show is the same Expanse team, production
Oh, that
team.
would be good. Okay.
So it's gonna be awesome. And I just
Yeah.
finished that like a month ago. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I
I
really
guess
hope that this
I'm
show gets
apprehensive.
canceled and they don't do it.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you, Dan.
yeah,
scared.
because everybody's being way
I'm-
too positive. No, fuck that. No, I don't care. It doesn't matter if it's Amazon. Put it on whatever thing you like. Everybody loves HBO.
Yep.
So, ooh, HBO, fuck that. I don't care. Don't make the show. You want to experience God of War, play the game.
Do you remember, Dan, far back enough for the I think it was God of War 3? They did a live action commercial for God of War 3 with some
I
dude
vaguely
painted up
remember the
all white.
commercial.
It's just one of those characters that I think you could do it, but it has to be done so perfectly.
It's not going to translate
and
well.
on such a
Yeah.
crazy scale in order to make it translate to live action. It's he's too fantastical and he's too easy to come off silly. If it's an actor I recognize getting painted up. So
I
I'm
feel
a little
I feel
worried
like
for
it would like kind of come off like the Witcher show almost. Like I don't know.
Yeah, and frankly I think Witcher comes off a little silly, something like from time to time.
Sometimes it does, and
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the game kind of more than the show, honestly. And I feel
Yeah.
it has
That
some
show
good
did not
parts,
look good at all.
but I feel like it's gonna be similar to that. Like kind of
Anyways.
have some good moments, but also kind of cheesy too, because it's like I don't know.
I'm much more open and excited for the Last of Us show than I am for the God of War show.
No, I don't want that either.
I understand not wanting to translate it, but what I do like about Last of Us, one, it's the whole game is grounded. It's much easier to translate to reality. It's a zombie show at the end of the day.
Mhm.
But it has the team of Chernobyl, which was an amazing limited series on HBO. Fantastic, like skill there in terms of storytelling. And they have Neil Druckmann like partnering
That's the
with
one thing they
the
got going
writing
for
for it all the
Yeah.
way. And I love Pedro Pascal. I think he could play an amazing character in whatever you
Good
put.
actor.
So,
Yeah, I totally
um,
think he can kill it. He can make that show come to life and just
and Nick
give that
Offerman as
extra
Bill. Come on.
oomph.
The
Yeah.
casting is great. The casting is great. That doesn't
Yeah.
change my stance. I hope that the show doesn't get made.
I get. I understand. I understand not wanting the translation because it's the games are too perfect. There's really,
Yeah.
but a lot of people don't play games, so I am
Yeah,
happy
they
with the
get to miss.
stories.
Though.
It's like fuck them. They don't get to experience this magical game.
My mom got to experience The Last of Us 1 and 2 perfectly fine because the way I showed it to her. You know?
How'd you show it to her? Were you playing it in front of her? Or you gave her YouTube
No.
clips or something?
There were like first I don't remember the thing. We have to go way podcast, but somebody on YouTube basically clipped out the first game and did it like into like they made it into like a little show, but it's just the game. It's still the game. Like I don't want to see
Yeah.
did he see an actor or change stuff around or oh this is gonna work better for this type of audience because they're not really gamers, blah blah blah. The way it is, I showed it to my mom, loved it. And after it was done, I was like, guess what? There's a part 2. I was just like, really? I was like, yep. And I showed it to her like right when I finished the game, like that video thing. But there were like people doing playthroughs of it, so it's like I showed her that basically the whole playthrough, and she loved it. She's like, when's the next one? I was like, she's like, then why'd you show this to me? I want to see the whole story. And I was like, there you go. Somebody who doesn't play video games
Yeah.
saw the video
Yeah.
game, and it was great. Doesn't need to.
Yeah.
But they're
Alright,
pretty
yeah.
much making it into a show, so why not just make it a show?
Because if they make it into a
By
show, you know that they're
tailoring
going to
it
change
and
things.
doing all that.
Hey,
It's
that's a good point.
You know that they're going to change
it-
things. They're not going to stay true. This is the game. It's not being
I'm okay with them.
You know,
I'm okay with them not staying true. I'm okay with seeing a different take on something I loved, just to see what else they can bring to it. And Druckmann himself has said that they're going to explore a lot of aspects and a lot of relationships that the game didn't even get a chance to explore that they had written out, anyways. Which I think is going to be really cool. Like, if anything, it's just going to be additive for the people that already love the game. You get to learn more about the world.
with The Walking Dead,
if it's done well.
with The Walking Dead, Robert Kirkman said that the show is what he wanted the comic book to always be, and holy shit, was it so much worse than the comic.
Yeah, we'll see.
So no.
Okay, hey, Uncharted was fucking fun. I don't. Let me just put that.
I didn't
out
watch
there.
that.
Uncharted
I
was
didn't
a good
watch that.
time.
I'll get around to
Alright,
watching it
so-
at some point.
Oh, you saw the
the movie
Was it-
came
it was-
out?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, it came out.
Yeah, it
Oh,
came
I
out.
didn't
Mark
know.
Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg.
I had a
did
great
it?
time with Uncharted. They changed a whole bunch of shit up, and
Oh yeah, well,
it's
Sully's like a
different from the
solid
games.
30 years younger. Yeah, so is Nathan Drake.
Well, so is Nathan Drake, and
Yeah.
that's.
I mean,
again,
honestly,
it's not
that
necessarily-
really does joke, but no, I mean,
Okay.
I haven't seen it.
I thought it worked. I thought it worked.
All right,
it's
yeah,
not the
let's
best thing that worked.
let's
yeah.
move
What's the
on.
rest of your news, Danny?
Yeah.
Damn, Neil Druckmann. So speaking of Neil Druckmann, Walking Dead has a new spin-off show.
Of course.
It's with Negan and Maggie. I was almost gonna say McGee. I can't even read my handwriting.
McGee. McGee. That would be sick. That's a good
But
name.
apparently, I fell off Walking Dead a long time ago. So apparently, Negan and McGee get together, and they're getting a spin-off show called Isle of the Dead. And
Oh, God.
that's all I gotta say about
It's
that.
like TV has become nothing but spin-off shows now. So
Mhm.
Isle of the Dead. So they don't even have to change locations. It's just one
yeah.
one set. They're done.
Yeah.
Should have stayed a comic.
That's funny.
Yep. So that's in the works there. And next up, movie news. Will Smith and Michael B. Jordan are coming to the I Am Legend sequel. I like Will Smith and Michael B. Jordan, so hopefully,
they're
hopefully,
both producing and co-starring in the sequel. So
Oh, yeah. So it should be pretty
Producing.
awesome.
should be
Right.
should be interesting. I liked I Am Legend. There was like 2 different endings. One of them where Will Smith survived, so I'm guessing they're gonna go with that one since he's gonna be in it, unless it's gonna be flashbacks. But who knows? We'll see what happens. Any more, Disco?
Uh, Just a shout out, really. I guess the Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer came out yesterday, March 9th. Check
Yeah,
that out. It
I
was
saw
really
the
cool.
trailer. Did everybody else see the trailer?
I
Yeah.
did see
Yeah.
the trailer. I also realized today's Mario Day.
Yeah,
Happy
I
Mario Day.
saw the trailer, and because of the horrendousness that was the Book of Boba Fett, I was not excited at all for Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I was excited for Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then the Book of Boba Fett came out, and I was so disappointed, and I was just like, now I'm not gonna get my hopes up for the show. Um, but
I'm
yeah, that
very
was my take on
very
it.
I
excited for that show.
I'm incredibly excited for it.
Yeah,
I'm
And
I need
that
that show.
trailer
I
that
concur.
trailer hit in a way that like
Yeah.
it makes it. I enjoyed Mandalorian. I actually really enjoyed Boba Fett, and
Oh, that's oof. You got a
Oh,
bad opinion there.
we could. I'd be down to defend it and talk about it with you. But
No, that's all
I
good.
think
Even Disney was
after
halfway through,
both,
like, no, let's just redeem this with
just go back to
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
that was
Just start
that was a good. That was a no. It was a good time. I completely understand and agree with all you guys' points on it, but it was good.
He's like, yes, you guys are right. It was kind of shit, but I did really like it.
Hey, you're totally entitled to that opinion. That's awesome.
No, no,
But
yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
but Obi-Wan, the trailer for Obi-Wan, and maybe it was because of the Duel of the Fates music, it hit on a level so much higher than the Mandalorian or Boba Fett has hit. It felt like, first of all, this is the reunion for kids that grew up
Mhm.
kind of with the prequels.
Mhm.
Like we haven't seen these people since 2006.
Yeah.
And like not only are we seeing them, but now if you're a fan of the Clone Wars and if you're a fan of Rebels, the amount of context that's coming into this fucking show, and if you're a fan of Jedi Fallen Order, did you guys see the base that they're in, the underwater base?
Mhm.
Like they're bringing in so many elements, so many characters.
Dude, I
The
hope it's a great
Inquisitors.
show. I'm not getting my hopes up because I was super excited for Boba Fett because I'm like, this is gonna be Boba Fett, and I got really disappointed with what
But
they did.
just look at the actors too. You're talking about what's his name, Timora Morrison, and was his name's Ming Na Wen, the one
Mhm.
from Agents of Shield.
Mhm.
The Timora, you know, he's good, but he's never been on the level of like Ewan McGregor and like Joel Edgerton.
Okay.
Like you're bringing some really like
No,
A-list
it's fine,
talent.
and I'm gonna definitely watch the show. I'm just not as excited for it because I don't want to get my hopes up. So it's like, listen, if I go in with the bar low, because
Yeah.
I went in for
This is
Boba
why I
Fett
like
with a
Boba
high
Fett.
bar,
Oh,
and
no,
it was
okay,
like,
this is why I
That's
like
factual.
Boba Fett so much. I'm like, this is gonna be shit.
oh, okay,
It
yeah.
was a
See,
great
I was just
fun
like, Boba Fett is awesome. I can't wait to see this. Super disappointed. So I'm just gonna go in with a low bar for Obi-Wan, so I could be super happy when I see it. So.
I really think that they're gonna redeem themselves with this Obi-Wan show. I just really
Yeah.
like he said, that song came on and just had me hype. And then when he was watching Anakin, the nostalgia was setting in, and then the monologue happened and he was talking about hunting Jedi.
Luke,
It's like
right?
patience. Yeah, Luke. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. It felt really cool to me.
Dude, that
And,
monologue, that one of the Inquisitors or whoever it was said it.
yeah.
That like Jedi can't help themselves. It's like an itch.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
he's just.
Yeah, oh.
It reminds
He's
me
like, they're
of
predictable.
reminds me exactly of what's his name? Was it Hans Landa? The Christoph Waltz from Glorious
Yeah,
Bastards.
yeah.
His
One
speech
hell of a
about Jew
villain.
hunting.
I picked him in the draft.
Yeah, I'm saying like it gave me those same chills. So very much Nazi vibes, scary Nazi vibes.
But no, Duel of the
Yeah,
Fates
yeah.
is great. Can we somehow get Duel of the Fates on the podcast and just always play in the background? Like as we're just talking about everything, all you hear is like do, 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 do.
Put it on the soundboard.
And you guys know Hayden Christensen's confirmed for it too, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
Yeah,
very
we've
excited
known
about
for a
that.
while.
I mean,
Very excited.
I mean,
about that.
so that means
Was
we're gonna
not
see Hayden
excited for that
Christensen
at all.
Burned.
The
No,
man
get
redeemed
out of-
himself.
How could you?
Yeah, no,
He's
he's
an-
just gonna be
he's
crying little
amazing.
bitch Vader now.
This is
Just like he was a
He is
Vader
now.
Vader is going to
Yeah,
end up
accept
being
it.
the most badass Vader. Watch.
I hope so. I
Wow.
really hope so. Because Hayden Christensen
gonna
was a
absolutely
crying little
murder.
bitch Anakin. So
Stop.
he wasn't. He wasn't.
Yes, master.
Oh, man.
Whatever,
good.
man.
Look, after I was scarred by what is the sequel trilogy, I
So
have to
good.
go back
Such
to
a
the
good trilogy.
prequels with nothing but love in my heart. That's all we have left is the prequels.
He's just
I
like,
can't have you
come
shit on
here,
the
come here.
prequels.
I regret what I said about you
Yeah, I was
before
like,
the
I didn't mean
sequel
it. I
trilogy.
didn't
Just
mean
come
it.
back
You
to
thought
me,
you had it. You thought you had it bad.
baby. Give
It
me
got
one more
worse.
chance, baby. Take
Baby,
me
come
back. Give
back.
me one more chance.
Oh man.
uh,
Uh, that's the end of my news though, right there. I think
alrighty.
that was lovely.
Well, guys, we're about to start the main topic that is the review of the Batman. But before we do that, go check out our YouTube channel. We are on YouTube, throwing videos on every week. Full episode goes up Monday. Clips go on every day after that. And also go check out our social medias where we post up reels with what we think are some of the funniest moments of the episode of the week. So go check those out. YouTube.com, our social medias on Instagram. Go check out those Wise Guys website where it will link you to everything in one place. So now, without further ado, let's get into the Batman. All right. So what we're gonna do for this review, we're gonna start off with each of us giving like a quick 60-second review, no spoilers for this review, and then we're gonna jump into the nitty gritty and get into some awesome details. Anybody want to go first,
I
or should
want
I
you
go
to go
first?
first. I want you to go first. I want you to
All
set
right.
the template.
All right. I'm gonna go first. Alrighty. So
You want a
the
timer?
Batman. No, we got the little timer in the bottom. All right, the Batman. Super. I was super excited to go in to watch this movie. I read a lot of the reviews. It was like saying it was going to be a horror and stuff like that. I did not think it was a horror movie, but I did think it was like an awesome, dark, gritty detective thriller. And I think it did that really well. I loved the storyline. It had elements of multiple comic books that I have read, so I was able to pick up on it. There was a lot of set up to future like villains and stuff. The cinematography was some of the best I've seen in a long time, and everything was just so fucking good. Loved every minute. I was not bored at all at watching this movie. I like it was just like the pacing of the story was phenomenal. So that is my 60-second review. Loved it. Who wants to go
I could
next?
I could go next.
Yeah, go for it.
Right off of that, yeah. The Batman for me, after thinking about it for a while, comparing it to all the previous Batman movies, it is the best Batman movie, hands down for me. Um, I think that this movie, they took the strongest elements that Nolan introduced with a grounded and realistic Batman, and combined that with the strongest elements of Tim Burton's Batman and the animated series Batman. All of that fantasy, all of that gothic lore, and all of that family lore of the original comics and of the original cartoons. They've completely brought them together, and they work in unison here in a way that we've never had in previous movies. They either would lean more fantasy or lean too hard realistic, I think. This one is that perfect balance. And then on top of that, just the casting, I think, was absolutely perfect for everyone in this movie. Everyone absolutely hit it. This original vision for Batman, yeah, there's a lot of influence from the comics, but I think it's fresh, and everything about it feels right for the character. And then, like Eslam said, a major thing for me here was the editing and the cinematography. Pacing was amazing. I did not feel like I sat through a 3 hour movie, and the cinematography, um, it just put these images in my head. It put these moments in my head that are going to stay burned in there. It was only after I watched the movie that I learned it was the same director of photography as Dune, and that makes sense. It's absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, all in all, 10 out of 10 Batman movie for me.
Definitely longer than 60 seconds, but I love it.
100% was longer after 60 seconds.
Oh shit,
She was like
It's,
90
it's fine.
seconds,
It's
but
fine.
it's cool.
my
I'll
bad,
cut it
my
up.
bad.
I'm writing down all the times, by the way, Islam. So
Oh,
it's,
thanks, dude.
no problem.
All right,
Danny,
who
you
wants
got it?
to?
You want me to go?
I'll go next just to throw
Okay.
some contrast in there.
Okay. This movie sucked.
No, this is my personal Batman review, and I thought it was a good movie, but I really didn't think it was legendary or like it didn't catch me. Like I wouldn't give it a 10 stars. And to be quite honest, I actually fell asleep like 5 minutes probably. Granted, it was the first showing. It was the early bird special. So maybe that had something to do. But I did feel like it was kind of a little long. I did. I fell asleep and I woke up and Alfred was nothing, nothing, nothing. Uh, I might have. I might.
Best review.
Yeah, it really is.
I woke up and Alfred was nothing, man.
You caught your. I'm glad you caught yourself.
So nothing happened to Alfred, and but I woke up and I watched the rest of the movie, and I enjoyed it, but it didn't like blow me away. I wasn't like with the Dark Knight or whatever. Heath Ledger like just blew me away, and I was like, wow, that was amazing. I didn't get that from here and from this movie, and I I did like the antagonist, but it wasn't. I don't know. I just didn't feel blown away. Like, and it's I don't know. It's a weird feeling within myself. Like, it wasn't a bad movie, and it wasn't a bad movie at all. It was very enjoyable. Granted, I fell asleep. I think that was just because I was tired. But great, but didn't blow me away. We'll cut it there.
Loving these 2-minute reviews. Danny.
Yep, I'm gonna hit the 60. I'm gonna hit the 60. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
I don't think I need the full 60. It's
Yeah.
gonna be fine. All right, so I'm just gonna write down my time, and then I'll jump in very soon.
Yeah.
Just biding my time, just so I got a good starting point.
Yeah.
Just filling the air, guys.
I think Danny, you might change your mind a little bit once we start getting into the meat of the movie.
Okay, so for me,
Yeah.
no, join my review.
Now we have to wait a whole other minute.
No,
God damn.
I'll start at 10. Okay, so for me, the Batman movie ever created. I don't think I've ever. I mean, I was thinking about all the other Batmans, and I was trying to really figure out where I wanted to put it, and I can't justify putting it anywhere below any other Batman movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yeah, it was great. The cinematography was amazing. The actors were phenomenal. Great choices. I love the younger, angry Bruce. You never really got to see that on film. So you get to see like basically all the hatred, and it was so good. And with the rest of my time, I just want to talk about how much I hate the Matrix. The Matrix truly is I've ever seen in my life. Like the first movie's bad. Me being a security. Neo murder security guards just hurt. It was bad. The sequels didn't need to happen. They should have made the last movie. I'm sorry, Keanu.
He's biased because they murdered security guards. That's why.
I think that was the best Batman review ever. Dude, I thought you were gonna be like, but like something bad about the movie, and you were like, no, fuck the Matrix. Oh, that was so fucking funny. All right.
I like the 60-second review thing. We got to do this, bro.
It's like for the rest of my review, I'm just gonna shit on the Matrix every time. But now, if you're listening, we're gonna get into spoilers, so brace yourselves.
Do you want to talk about what's going on before we get spoilers, get a discussion going, or you want to just jump right in? I'm down either way.
No, we'll do that, which will lead into spoilers. But
Okay.
I'm just warning people, we're not gonna do another spoiler warning. We're gonna jump in, and we're just gonna get into spoilers.
All right.
All right. So where would you guys like to start the discussion?
Something did happen to Alfred. I had to get it off my chest.
Actually, I kind of want to start off the beginning.
Okay.
So one of the things that I loved is you start off and then you get the monologue. You get to hear Bruce speaking.
The inner thoughts of Bruce.
Yeah,
Wayne.
and it's just like, oh my god, the callback to comic books. How often are you reading a comic book and you read the text, you read what they're thinking, and we get to hear that with Bruce?
Not how often in every comic book there's
Yeah.
always an inner monologue for the main character.
And then you do that, and then you hear what he's saying, and you could just hear how much I mean, it's only been like 2 years. Like, he's just still that young, angry, pissed off kid. He's just like, you know what? I am vengeance, which I fucking love the fact that he's saying this in a goddamn movie.
Yeah.
And he's saying that and just going through the whole thing. Oh, look at them. They're afraid of the shadows. They don't realize I am the
Oh my god,
shadows.
that was so beautiful. He's like,
And then you see everybody.
Yeah.
Like, they're just like, oh, they're doing whatever stupid crimes they're doing. And then they look at the bat signal like, oh, fuck. He's out there. The bat's out tonight. I can't.
He's like he's in that shadow. Let me
Exactly.
go the other way.
It was so good
so
because they
by,
stay
like,
true to the whole. The
explaining
criminals
that
are
psychological
cowardly lot.
warfare of it.
Yeah.
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 What was that?
No, you just get so much just from that opening sequence. Like he's not there for any of those petty criminals there, and
No.
you see that literally that fear that he's putting into them, just not even by being there. It's all through the symbolism, through the imagery,
Hmm.
through the like what he already means, even though he's not even fully finished in his development, right? He's actually
No.
pretty early on,
Yep.
and already you see how powerful this image of Batman is, and it's it did more to explain to audiences of why the Batman operates the way he does in the first like 5 minutes
Yep.
than any other previous movie has done. Because there's that imagery that you understand there. You understand how the criminals react to it. Now take that and compare it directly to Batman in The Dark Knight Rises taking an hour and a half, however fucking long it must have taken him, while bombs are supposed to go off all throughout the city, being like, no, hold up. I need to put a fucking 200-foot long lit on flames bat symbol on this bridge right here really quick.
Yeah. They're gonna be scared of
Which
this.
is
Wait till I'm done.
in broad daylight too. Like just comparing it to like how previous movies have tried to
And also,
I guess
like
get this
with the
vibe.
Nolan Batman, like they tried to do that young angry Bruce in Batman Begins, where he has the gun in his pocket, he's
Yeah.
trying to go murder or shoot the guy, and like, and it just didn't hit the same, right? And it's just uh, with this, it's like he's angry, but he still like has that line where he's not gonna kill. Where this Bruce contemplated passing that line at one point and then brought himself back. Um,
I like how that open scene also like visually showed his aggression. Like as soon as he started swinging on that guy, you know he was just like
Yep.
that was all rage. He was just like boom, boom. Like you really
Yeah.
like you see
and
him
like
like going wilding out on the guy. I was like, oh, okay, Bruce,
yeah,
damn.
And showing his
and
rage
like
was so important
and
for his
like Rusty
development in
was
this
Yeah.
movie.
saying how in that short span of time he was able to instill that fear in them by doing stuff like that to like certain gangsters
Yep.
and then having that word spread and then
Mhm.
like everybody's afraid. He's like, "Oh, he comes out the shadows. You never know
Yep.
where he's going to show up. When that light goes on,
Yep.
you better be on your best behaviors. He's going to fucking come for
He's
you."
a fucking angry Santa Claus. Like
Yeah.
he's
You
always
compared
watching.
you compared it to Batman Begins, and specifically the scene where he has the gun in his pocket and
Yep.
he's ready to go,
Yeah.
just get pure revenge. One, I think this movie, the best one to compare it to is Batman Begins. They're both dealing with very similar stages of Bruce Wayne and dealing with very similar types of Gotham.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, yeah, you said it's that he had the gun in his pocket, and then he ends up getting slapped in the face by Rachel, right? And she
Yeah.
realizes
Mhm.
what he was trying to do, and that just
Oh, I
kind of
forgot
makes him
about
tuck
that.
his
Yeah.
he just kind of tucks his tail between his legs after
Yep.
that, and he gets made like a fool of when he tries to like walk in there with I think was it Maroni or Falcone that he's going after? I don't even remember.
I think it was
Um,
Maroni. I'm not sure.
but yeah, I mean, sorry, I know I'm gonna jump to the end of the movie here, but like
Yeah, that's
instead
fine.
of having other people show him like explain to him that what he's doing is wrong, having his own words
Yeah.
of I am vengeance, seeing that from an extremist, right? So he
Mhm.
has to literally learn that himself and be
Yeah.
disgusted by himself because he's
Yep.
noticed, oh my God, I can't be that. I
Yeah,
can't be this
exactly.
person.
Well,
And
Oh my God, that just
that was
hits so fucking
such
good.
it was so
yeah.
beautiful because you see it throughout the whole movie where
Yeah.
he's like, "No, I am vengeance and I'm fucking pissed and this." And then he like finds out what his father might have done and then like this whole picture of his father of this saint of a man gets like crushed and then he's like, who am I?
Mhm.
Like I thought we were good people and like this happened to good people and he's like and then this guy's like, I am vengeance, and it was the same guy he saw at the funeral,
Yep.
right? I think so.
Yeah. It was.
And then he's like no, this is not the way.
Yeah.
And like we always see that progression of growth within comic books, right?
Yep.
Where we see the Batman being so like when you're young you're just angry, right?
Yeah.
This happened to you, you're young, and then when you get older you start understanding, you start seeing the grays in the world instead of just black and white.
Yeah.
And I think that was a beautiful transition within that
And
within one movie,
Yep.
which was just like, which is really hard to do with that amount of character growth and keeping a good storyline and like keeping good pacing, and not rushing it and be like, well, how did he come to that? Like, when did
Mhm.
that happen? Um, So like phenomenal writing
Yeah.
throughout the whole movie, man. It was
I,
just
I
One.
personally felt like it was a little bland. I felt like he was just brooding the whole movie. It was like, bro, fix your face, dude. Show something else. Even when Alfred was on the hospital bed, it was just like, "Urgh," same stupid Batman face. Like, bro, and he had the crazy hair too. I don't know. It kind
This
of
is
turned me
Edward
off.
Cullen
One
we're
of
talking about. Brooding isn't going to happen.
Yeah, it's like this is Batman. If he's not brooding, it's wrong. Like,
yeah.
but no,
Even
one of
when
the
he
things
was
that
You're
in
lucky he
public, he
wasn't
was just like
sparkling.
stare like in the middle of the road, just like eyeballing, like
well, that's
fucking
the thing because
like okay,
pissed
okay,
off dude. He
Bruce.
just wants to fight the world. But one of the
Yeah.
things that I really liked was a great example I thought was in that first fight scene where he is beating the shit out of the gang members to rescue the one guy. And what does the one guy do? He's just like, please don't hurt me.
Yeah.
And he's kind of looking at him
Yeah.
and was just like, I saved you. Like I'm not about hurting you. Translate to the
He
very end of the
expected it.
movie. Yeah. And then you
He
translate to
wasn't even affected by it. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, yeah. And then you translate to the very end of the movie where it's just like, I mean, you like where he's putting down the one lady to get picked up by the helicopter. She's like grabbing her arm, and he's just like, "It's okay." Like,
Yeah, he's
it's
like, I
alright.
got
It's
you.
like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
She's like,
that, and then even the kid, the mayor's son. That's
Yeah.
another one. The first time he sees Batman, he's looking. I was like, "What the? It's a man in a giant bat costume. How come he's not in a mental institution right now? This is insane." And at the very end, when he's saving like all the people, who's the person that reaches out and grabs him? It's the kid who's accepted. Like, oh,
Yeah.
you were a hero.
Yeah.
You were there for us. Like, it's how they transition from vengeance to hope is just so good.
And then you
100%.
see 100%. That's a great point because you also see how he transitions from a vigilante to a hero when he
Yep.
transitions from vengeance to hope.
Yep.
And I think it's again an amazing
all the way
like,
at the end of the
progression.
movie.
Yeah, yeah.
So you
yeah.
had to wait the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
movie for that one last second.
This
No,
is
Danny,
like-
it should
oh,
be in
wait.
the
Part
scene
one.
right
This is
after. It
part
should have been in
one.
the second scene of the
It should be
movie.
in the middle of the movie. He was the same the whole movie, and at the end, he's like, "Maybe I shouldn't be this way." Okay.
I just want to go off of exactly the moment Dan was talking about with that first guy that he saved right off the train. The fact that immediately that guy responded to him with fear,
Mhm.
and what I really loved is when he responded to him with fear, there wasn't a look of like surprise or disappointment on
Yeah.
Batman's face at all. He was like, "Of course they're gonna respond to me with fear because that's what I am. I'm fear.
Yeah.
This is how I expect everyone to react to me." And I think it's an anger. You see an anger even with the people of Gotham. Like there's just there's an anger throughout, and he operates on that fear level, and that's his standard. That's the way that he's even dealing with the police when he's at all of the
Yeah.
crime scenes. Like he's just like, back the fuck away from me. I'm here. I'm investigating this. And so the fact that he operates with that as a standard works so well for that final scene when he puts the lady on the gurney for the helicopter. She puts her hand out on him and doesn't want to let go of him. And at least the way I read it, when he saw that she didn't want to let go, he looked at her with surprise in his face, because he was like, "That's not me. You don't reach out to me as your hero to save you." He didn't think that he was that person, and he's realizing that he can be that person. And I just really love that. Like, it's in that moment, and then that shot of him looking up at the helicopter. I think that's it. That realization coming over him that he's like, I can be in the light in a certain way. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I love that. I think it's the best. It's the best character study of Batman here.
No, it really was.
it definitely
So some of the story elements that they drew from for this movie, was Batman: The Long Halloween.
Mhm.
It had elements of Batman Year Zero, from New 52. In my opinion, it also had elements from Telltale Batman Season 1. Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like some of like the Arkham stuff, some of the stuff about his father. I did not play Season 2.
Okay,
I
so
only
then
played
yes, it
Season
must be season 1. Okay.
1. Okay.
I couldn't remember which one it was.
Because I feel if I remember correctly, Season 1 of Telltale had like the whole his mother being on Arkham, his father having dealt with like Maroni, and he was finding out through the district attorney. Fuck, I can't believe Harvey Dent,
Yep.
who was with Catwoman, and Catwoman finding out. I think was it in that game also Catwoman was going after Falcone. Or
Catwoman's
no?
always going after Falcone.
Whatever.
That's her life.
And then
You
in
just
the
gotta
Long
give him that scar.
Halloween, and the Long Halloween is where a storyline where they introduced that it's a possibility that Catwoman is the daughter of Falcone, and there was, the murders happening and Batman's trying to solve it. So they took that, added, the Riddler to it from year 0, and like all this. And I think he took like a lot of these amazing elements and created something new with it, and it really worked well for what he was trying to do and what he was trying to build with this year 2 Batman. The I had one issue with the movie, and I talked about this with Rusty like a couple of days ago. The Batmobile. Right? My issue with the Batmobile was I wish they had never shown it in trailers. Because the way they introduced that fucking car in the movie was so phenomenal that I wish I didn't know it existed until that moment.
Yeah. I liked it, but I feel like that dragged on a little bit, actually, the introduction. It was just like, let me rev the engine. Everyone's like, oh my God. I was like, I'm still revving the engine. Oh, you got it? Nice.
Yeah. I feel like it played into his, because he wasn't at the moment where he's like, I'm not vengeance anymore. He was still like, you will fear me.
Yeah.
And I feel like that high pitched screech, and you were like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
And like everybody was like shooting guns, they're scared, they're like, what the fuck's happening? And they hear this high pitched screech, almost like a demon. It's like coming to life.
I remember watching it, and later on, not to cut you off, but like when he's going through the fire, first thing I thought, I was like, he's literally a bat out of hell. Like, this is insane.
100%.
Like, this is.
And I just like,
100%.
I love that scene so much with like the introduction of the car, the high pitched screech. You're like, where's that coming from? And then you hear the jet engine in the back finally lights up. It lights up. You're like, something is there, and it's just like fucking comes out with a powerful fucking roar, and you're like, holy shit, that's the Batmobile. And that was just so fucking amazing to me.
That cinematography was amazing, and it did feel like a demon in the corner. It's like the way it was all dark, and then you just see the rim lights of their headlights, and then like flame in the background, kind of. It's like, oh snap, is that the Batmobile? That's what I was thinking. I was just like a little kid.
Me too. And I'm just like, I wish, because they didn't show that scene, but they showed the Batmobile driving and going through the fire and shit like that.
Yeah,
so I wish that never happened, and that would have been like the first time I ever saw this Batmobile. And I literally would have just jizzed in my pants.
You would have had a bunch of 30-something-year-olds just like, you gotta bring new trousers.
The first thing I texted my friends after watching the movie was that I never thought like a car chase sequence would bring a tear to my eye. I thought that was one of the most perfectly shot, choreographed car chases I've ever seen.
It was great.
Yeah, man.
One thing I want to. Oh, Rusty, you got more to say about that, or?
The one thing I want to say is like after Eslam's whole perfect description of the way that Batmobile is revealed and the screech of the demon and everything. Did you guys notice that at like the culmination of that, when you're like, oh my God, this demon is about to attack, the engine stalled?
Yeah, I did that. I thought that was hilarious because like he moved for like just a tiny little inch, and then it just stopped, and I was like, oh man, that's great.
And it got both parts there. Like he's perfected the fear of the Batman, and he's still
working on his tech,
still trying to figure it out.
And they have both of those parts there. I thought that was perfect.
One thing I want to mention, Eslam, since you brought up the trailer, how often do you get to see a movie that is true to the trailer?
Not much.
To me, this was it. Like, this was the trailer, the long version. Like, it was so good because I love that trailer. Like the music that they use, like the Batman. The Batman theme.
Oh, dude,
God. I've been singing it in the shower since I've watched.
Dude, first of all, this is, I think, usually like Rusty. Whenever we talk about movies and stuff, he brings up score. Dan, you do the same thing. I never pay attention to score. Like for some reason, it just doesn't click with me. It's always there in the background, but I never really like pay attention. Dude, this is the first
like 3 songs in this movie too, and
this
they're
is
all
the
good.
first time where like when the Batman theme came on with the fucking chase, I was just like, holy fuck, this is amazing. Like it was just like
the 4 notes repeat most of the time when the music plays, and it builds up higher and higher during the action sequence. It was like you get like dun 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 dun, and then action, and it's like going for a while, and then another big thing's happening, and then it repeats it one more time just for like an exclamation point on the scene.
Dude,
So,
fuck
like,
this
the
podcast. I'm
fact-
gonna watch the movie.
Yeah, I'm so ready to watch the
I
movie.
need to watch this movie like 3-4 more times,
Can,
bro.
can
It's
I
like,
talk? There's a couple like detail like moments that
yeah, go for
I
it.
absolutely love.
Absolutely.
The gadget of the
Oh yeah, I
contact
was gonna bring
lens.
that up to next. His tech that was the tech.
His
eyes?
camera contact lens
Oh God, yes.
Yeah,
is one of the most genius gadgets I've ever seen them have for Batman, and
Yeah.
it works for the kind of detective he is, the kind of hero that he is.
But it's
and,
still
like-
like shitty quality, and I love
Yeah.
that. It's still not
100%.
perfected.
what's
You know?
awesome is that the tech related to his level of Batman he's in.
Yep.
Right.
Do you know what I see it as more than like I don't see the retro tech as like he's not at a level of finesse yet.
No,
I
that's not
s-
what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
sorry.
So right now he's detective, like he's not out there. Like he also never threw a batarang in this movie, right? Which was like something that I was just like, I was like 3/4 of the way through the movie, I was just like, holy shit, you never even threw a batarang.
The first time he
what's
busted
happening?
out, he's like, "Let me cut this tape."
So like his tech was so involved in the way he operated, and the way he operated was a detective. He wanted to find clues, so he had tech to help him find clues. It wasn't about fighting, it wasn't about like all the shit, it was about getting the job done and solving the crime. Right?
I read a sorry, go ahead.
No, go. Sorry.
I read an interview with Matt Reeves, the director, that just confirms everything that you're saying and his vision for the character, that like everything that you see is out of necessity for
Yes.
what his goals are. And he referred to the Batmobile as he sees it as a hunter killer. So even in the design of the Batmobile, he has all of the armor is at the front of the car, and the engine is completely exposed in the back because this Batman doesn't get chased. This Batman hunts. That's where he's at.
That's
And it's-
so
oh my
badass.
god! I was like, holy shit!
I was wondering about that. That's like, now that you said that, that is actually really cool. That's like
Yeah.
a cool
I
little
was-
concept.
I loved it so much.
That was
yeah.
awesome.
No, so
The
like
details.
again, we were talking. Me and Rusty were texting back and forth. Like after I told him I watched the movie, and it was just like it was just interesting to see because like when we played the Batman Arkham series games, when we read the comics, when we see the thing, his cowl has like the fucking that same type of lens where it lets him see things, right? It was just cool to see it as like a fucking like. You know, contact lens, and then he like gives it to Selena to help get the things. Oh, it was just
I was
so
mad when she
phenomenal.
took them off. I was like, don't throw them out though.
The whole time I'm thinking, I was like,
He's
"He's
like,
don't
"Don't
throw
throw
him
him
out. Be careful."
So what I loved about those contact lenses in terms of story with Selena, I know it was like a small thing. I generally I hate when like a feminist kind of girl power agenda is like shoved into like a Marvel movie with like all the girls like doing their like little pose. But I thought her having her camera lens and having to look at these sleazy ass men in the club, and then like he was telling her like, no, keep looking, keep making that eye contact.
Yeah.
And you see her discomfort, and you realize like, holy shit, like a woman looking back at a man for like a second glance, especially in the situation, there's a whole other level of danger here.
Oh,
that Batman doesn't even like need to worry about. And I just thought that was such a cool layer that they were able to work in organically. And I don't know, I just really like that part.
Disco
No, that
didn't
was-
like what
that
you
was
were
cool.
saying. So.
Yeah, Disco
No,
said,
this
"Fuck it,
is-
I'm out. I'm out."
He's like,
So he shouldn't have been brooding. Oh man, you back? You back? There he is.
You good,
Was
bro?
he done talking about?
You good?
Oh my god. But no, yeah, you're 100% right. Like, definitely for women, if they like even look at a guy, they're like, the guy's like, oh, she wants this,
Yeah.
and it's just like, especially with these men, they're all drunk, they're all like used to like just calling a girl over and stuff like that. So, and she like has been working there and grew up around there, so like she knows like I can't look at these motherfuckers again.
Batman's like, no, I need face ID. Give it.
Yeah.
I need positive ID. Go look back.
Like, go.
Let's go. One thing I just wanted to say, since we're talking about Selena, it's just Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. Holy shit!
Yes.
Like for the
Oh my
longest
God.
time, I was like, I mean, I'm still on the fence if she's my favorite or not because I love I
Pfeiffer.
can't believe I'm blanking on her name.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Halle
Thank you,
Berry?
Michelle Pfeiffer. Oh,
Fuck out of
Danny, you
here.
got this podcast.
You can
No,
leave
no,
now,
no.
bro. Just
She
No,
might not have
Michelle
been good, but she was attractive. I like Halle Berry.
Well,
she's
no,
definitely
Halle Berry's
attractive.
hot as fuck, but
Yeah.
like she was the
If I
the
could
most
make that
garbage.
movie not exist, I will. Like,
Yeah.
Just
but
wipe it.
but no, like Zoe Kravitz. Oh, I mean, she was so fucking good. It was just like she definitely stayed feminine. Like it was like the perfect feline. Like
Yes.
she stayed feminine, but when she needed to, the claws would come out, and like she'll fucking push somebody off a building. She'll kill another actor we gotta talk about, John Turturro as Falcone.
Yeah. Oh, he
Just
was
like
so fucking good.
dude, all the
Holy
actors they
shit.
picked. Like I'll get to John
Dude,
Turturro in a second, but
yeah.
she
Yeah.
was. Dude, she was just perfect, and then it's like you could see that how much she cares about her friend, but then it's
Yeah.
also just like, but is it the money? And that's always been the thing with Selena
Yeah.
Kyle. It's like, do you care or are you just trying to rob somebody? And they
Yeah.
played that off perfectly.
Yeah, she killed that role, and
So good.
I like pretty much like you said. She got you thinking, and I like how you mentioned my computer kind of messed up, but like how you
Yeah,
were
it's all
talking
good.
about the feminist stuff. Uh, I thought she maneuvered that well, and like you said, and that scene that you're saying, where she had to look back for the eye contact, I
Yeah.
thought that was such a great scene too, and it really puts you in the mind of a woman too, kind of like because you don't really, as a man, I don't really think
Yeah.
about like the struggles
we
they
don't
go
know.
through,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so watching that really put me in her perspective. I was like, oh, I never even thought twice about that, like and. So I thought it was pretty cool how she played that, and it got you involved, and it made me see things from a different perspective. And
Absolutely.
and like you said, I liked how she pretty much embodied a cat. She reminds me of my cat Luna. Like she's like feminine and like smooth, but then when you get my cat riled up, she'll bring those
Yep.
claws out. She got quick hands too, and you saw that in the movie how
Yeah.
swift she could be. And even in that first scene where Batman's watching her and she like slips out the window, like does parkour,
Yeah.
all like not with ease, just like okay, she is
I
like
also like the she had a great chemistry with Batman, and it was phenomenal. I've only seen this in animated movies. I've only seen this in comic books. Like the relationship between Catwoman and Batman was at the peak of perfection in this movie. Like
I was
like
telling Eslam when I was watching them on screen, I didn't know who I was more sexually attracted to, whether it was Batman or Catwoman. I just wanted to be in it. Just let me be there.
It's funny because like Eslam, you're talking about like the chemistry and everything, and I always I've always thought Michelle Pfeiffer was so good. I still do. I always thought of that Batman. Of always just like he was like the kid trying not to get a boner. like that was Michael Keaton's Batman in Batman Returns, where Catwoman's coming out, she's doing all the things, just like just keep it down, Bruce. Just keep it down, Bruce. You got this.
I read that there was a rumor that the Batman, I'm blanking his name,
Robert
Pattinson banged Kravitz in the Batmobile, and I don't know if it happened for real, but I read that was a rumor, and that could add to their chemistry because
Yeah, if it's true, if it's true,
I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but hey, it is what it is. There's
they both
always a lot of.
they both seem young and wild like that. Like they're both young and a
But
lot of money. So
I love how their relationship
The rumor
involved.
I heard is that it was actually Paul Dano and Kravitz in the Batmobile.
Oh, really?
oh,
And Michael Reeves is in the back seat.
that's funny.
I love how the relationship progressed through the movie, and because again, like I said, it was like the perfect like portrayal of usually what happens. And like Batman never sees Catwoman, even though she steals, even though like he never sees her as a villain that he like needs to go after. She's always like this like I don't know how to explain it. He always has like this soft spot for her.
He just turns a with a
Yeah.
lot of what she does.
So and
It's
he
like
did
she's
that
hot
here.
or something.
Yeah, and he did that here too. But like with in the comic books, Bruce Wayne gets like pussy all the time, right? So
I mean,
it's not
I'm kidding. Well,
no, okay.
obviously, yeah.
I mean, yeah, but like in the comic books, he's always like it's funny in New 52 in like the first 3 pages, he had like fuck like 3 chicks, and I'm like, what the fuck's happening when like Batman first came out? But
What it comes down to for me, which they show perfectly in this movie, which is why I think she is, I think, the best Catwoman
100%.
portrayal, even better than Pfeiffer. And maybe more to do with the writing, not necessarily just the actress themselves. But I think the reason Batman has a soft spot for her is because she's an exact, tragic product of the criminal underworld, the same
Yeah.
exact way he is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she has that same damage that he has,
Mhm.
and he sees her struggling with it. She's more morally dark than him, even, because she's in it for purely selfish gain. You could argue he is too in this movie, because he is operating on vengeance for
Yeah.
himself specifically. And yeah, she's going for money, but she's still willing to take that step.
So I want to go.
To shoot Falcone, right? And
Yeah.
he wants
I
to stop
was-
her because he doesn't want her to go down that
Yeah.
road.
I was thinking,
Um,
like, why? What does Catwoman see in him throughout the movie? Because this man is just like, as you know, I didn't like Batman. I was like, this man is just like pouting the whole
Yeah.
movie, and so I was like, what do you see in
Listen,
him?
the biggest pout in Batman
but
was
that-
fucking
that-
Christian Bale.
That
So
what you
the-
just said makes perfect sense. They share that same brokenness, that same damage. They come from the same place, and that totally made sense when you said that. So it kind of
You don't know how much I love the ending too, when it's like when they kind of right before they like
Yeah.
they're randomly racing each other.
oh my god!
Like
Yeah.
the whole thing where like she you know, she goes up to him and is like, why don't you come with me? And then without saying it, she says it, where it's just like, oh, I get it, like you're in love with someone else.
You're taken.
And it's
Yeah,
Gotham. You're taken.
And then he
Exactly.
goes in, and then he kind of like goes in for the kiss, and she
Yeah.
pulls away,
Yeah.
and it's just like she's like, "You have to pick me," or it's like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
And that's one of the things I want to
ruin
talk.
this.
No, go for it.
Their little dance on their motorcycles,
Yeah.
like near the end, that little romantic
Yeah.
back and forth. Again, one would come up, and the other one would
Yeah.
come up a little bit. It reminded me of Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. I don't know if you guys remember
I
when
barely.
he's drifting around the hairpins in Tokyo
Oh, okay,
on
okay,
the
okay.
mountainside
Yeah.
with the girl, and they're both drifting, but you don't
Oh,
hear
yes,
the cars
yes.
at all, and it's
Mm.
just a serene moment where they're seeing each other.
Yeah, every
In-
time
in,
they
an,
drift,
in an
the
otherwise
cars
terrible
line up.
movie, that romantic connection with vehicles, that's the only other place I've really seen it. So it just reminded me of that.
But what's called one of the things I want to talk about is Gotham. This is
Oh,
the best
sorry.
Gotham I've ever seen. Go ahead.
Before
Eslam.
we get
Yep.
into Gotham, can I?
Yeah.
I just gotta say one more thing about Catwoman.
Absolutely.
So Dan, you had mentioned that like you never know with Catwoman whether she's in it for the money or in it for the friends. And every time we see Catwoman, whether it's in an animated series or comic book or whatever, she's always going for the money
Mhm.
because she needs it to protect the
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
So it always seems like she's in it for selfish reasons, but like she can't do anything to help these people without the money.
Yeah.
So like I saw that latest animated movie Catwoman Hunted or whatever, and it
Okay.
was like a Japanese anime style like
Yeah.
Catwoman. And it was the same thing, right? She was going after this huge diamond and she got into all this trouble. And like you keep seeing her making like these calls. It's like, oh, I'll be back home, baby, blah, 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 blah. And at the end of the movie, you realize she's talking to like this like younger child in an orphanage. And she's
Yeah.
like, I'm going to take care of the orphanage. Like
Yeah.
I got the big score, you know? So she always comes off. And I think her character is always portrayed that way as kind of almost like as her protecting herself. Where it's like if she doesn't like if she gets too emotional and like she does, but she has to put up a fake facade to be able to get that to protect the people that she's trying to protect.
Do you think she was there in this movie though?
Yes, because she was trying to protect her friend really bad, and then when she saw her friend dead, that's when she snapped and she was
Well,
like,
she
I'm
turned
gonna
into
fucking
just hurting
kill.
Falcone. Like basically, she wanted to take the money to hurt Falcone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
When she
went-
got in the back of the trunk and the body was there,
Mhm.
I guess I'm a little confused on that. What was she expecting to find? Was it not money?
she was looking for the money.
She didn't expect to see her dead friend.
She didn't expect to see the dead
Exactly.
friend. When she
So-
saw the body, that's when she was just like, all right,
So getting
I'm gonna
going
fucking
there
kill.
to get that money, how would that have even helped her find Annika?
It's
Yeah, I mean,
resources.
Yeah, it could be. I mean,
You pay off people. You get. You know what I mean? It's you can't do anything in the underground without money.
but at the same time, she always wanted to hurt Falcone.
Yes.
Remember, the whole reason
Yeah.
she works there is to hurt Falcone. So it's like
Yep.
she was going to get the money to hurt him, and then on top of that, it's like, and you fucking killed my friend that I've been
Yeah.
working with
Yeah.
this insane person in a bat costume to try to find.
You do see how much she cares about her because she was like, "Fuck you,
100%.
Batman," and take off the thing because
Yeah.
she wants to know about her friend more than Batman. She cares more about what she wants,
Yeah.
which is her friend, than what
Mhm.
she said she would help Batman. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
100%. Yeah, you're totally right. You're totally right.
So
Um,
that's what I want to say about Catwoman. We can. Do you have anything else to say, or we can jump into Gotham?
you cool with jumping into Falcone really quick before
Fuck, we're
Gotham?
jumping to
Oh.
anything. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Also,
Let's jump
Gordon.
on
I want to know what y'all thought about Gordon.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
There's so many characters. We're
There's
gonna get to all of them.
everything.
But
Okay, so
Everything.
the only thing I want to say about Falcone, obviously I'm a huge Totoro fan.
Yeah.
He can do no wrong. So
Yeah.
the second he's a gangster and he's like one of the top gangsters, and with his like softer voice, that even makes him a little more terrifying to me. Just how relaxed and
it's
casual
like
he
speak
is.
softly, but carry a big stick.
100%. I was like, I believe anything that you tell me that this Falcone has done. I believe it. But I think the most powerful, like what made me realize, like, holy shit, how amazing of a version of Falcone is this, and Totoro's performance is that like the most like terrifying moment for me of Totoro. He wasn't on screen, and it's just his voice in the recording.
Oh
And
yeah.
I imagined that like I see Totoro choking this woman, and it's just a fucking phone recording. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That's the level.
I mean,
of
his performance overall, and it's funny because like a lot of people don't know that he can put this kind of performance. A lot of people look and was like, oh, he's one of those Adam Sandler guys, and it's just like before Adam Sandler, he was serious roles, and it's like
I like feet.
yeah,
He's
very
very
help with
sneaky.
Mr. Deeds every time I do see him. But oh my god, I loved him. It's like now I'm gonna think of him as Falcone first.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's
He
wonderful.
earned that. But yeah,
I'm
I mean,
gonna think of him as the Jesus forever. Sorry.
oh my god, yes. The Jesus. Oh god, but no,
But yeah.
Falcone, phenomenal. Yeah.
Let's talk about Gordon. I love this Gordon.
So good.
Oh yeah, totally.
Again, like portrayed Gordon perfectly. Like the comic
Yeah.
books, I loved his relationship with Batman.
Oh
Even
my
when he
God.
was like, all right, well, like when they were in the police station and he was telling the cops, he's like, I'll fucking take care
That
of
was
this. And he's
Jeffrey
like,
Wright's like scene. Like that
Yo,
was him just
he was
going
like, he was
all
like,
out right there.
he's like, yeah, this is what's happening. Just fucking punch me in the face and go out through this door to the right.
Can
I
we-
was just like,
Can we agree? Like greatest, like feeling of contact sucker punch in a movie. Like
Yeah.
I like how
he
I like
punched
how
Jeffrey Wright for real.
I like how he was like, you
Lost
should.
it.
I like how he was like, you should have pulled your punch. He's like, I did.
He's like, couldn't you have pulled it? He's like, I did.
But even
That
before that, when
punch
he's
was
like,
amazing.
when he's telling them to get out the room, and then they're like, "Are you sure?" And then he goes to Batman. He's just like, "I am gonna," and like he's hitting him in the chest like real hard. You hear him hitting like Batman's suit, and that's when like the captain is just like, oh, "Okay, I guess you're all right," because he has a soft voice too. And then they go in.
It's so weird. All the cops had super soft voice.
Oh
But it's
yeah, we're gonna
creepy.
get the
I liked
Batman.
it.
Oh, look at him, Bat with the wings. But like, and then when he's doing that, he's just like, you see him just emoting. It's just like, you're gonna hit me, and then you're gonna go down the hall. You're gonna go make a left.
Yeah, that shit was so good.
So good.
I saw a clip just recently that was it was showing like how the Batman actually disappears when he's talking to people. So it shows all of the old clips of like Gordon is at the end of this conversation and he turns around and like obviously Batman is like gone already.
Yeah.
And then it's like what actually happens and it shows Batman just hits him in the head and like runs off.
Gordon
It's the
had
one
CTE.
Yeah, it's the one movie to actually show like Batman escaping a situation.
Did you ever see? I
Also-
don't remember which comic it is. Sure, we talked about on the podcast where it's just like it's one of the same scenes. They're on the rooftop and they're Batman and Gordon are going back and forth. And Gordon's saying something at the very end. He's like, "Yeah, but I guess you already left, didn't you?" And he turns around. Batman's like, "What?" He's like, "Oh, you're still here." Yeah. Well, I guess I'm gonna go now. And it was like in a comic book. And I was like, "This is the funniest thing ever."
That's good.
Oh man. But,
Yeah, he was a
all
real
right.
ride or die Batman. Like, despite the whole force like making fun of him or being like, "Hey, what's up, with this guy?" He stuck with Batman
Yeah.
and he stuck with the cause.
Yeah.
Also, I'm really happy they showed Officer Martinez,
Mhm.
the dude. So hopefully we get to see his daughter eventually.
Who is
Mhm.
Martinez?
Get to the force. She was always one of Gordon's like right hand cops that was never
Yeah.
like corrupt and stuff. And like the comic
Cool.
books, the shows, she always like shows up. I think she was also in the Telltale series.
Yeah,
she's
she dates Batwoman at one point. In like before pre New 52 or was
Yeah.
it New 52? I don't remember. She's like one version of the Question even. s-
interesting.
Yeah, so she plays a big role. Actually, no, it's not Martinez. It's is it Mendoza?
Is it Mendoza? I don't
Montoya?
know. Whatever.
It's some
Montoya.
Hispanic.
Sorry.
Renee Montoya. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. Never mind.
So I
was
guess
being
they're not
racist.
related. Yeah.
But yeah, whatever. So, um, we haven't even gotten to like the other two villains yet.
Yeah, Riddler or Penguin or
Right.
so you guys jump wherever you want to go. There's quite a bit.
So I want to jump into the Penguin, right? Because I think like he was literally like one of my favorites in this fucking.
There's
movie.
no way that was Colin Farrell. Like
Right?
that couldn't have been Colin Farrell. The only reason they're making this show is because he's still stuck in the makeup. He's still stuck in it. They're like, fuck, we gotta do
I was
something.
like, this is just me now.
This is you now.
Dude, he was so fucking phenomenal, and he was hilarious too as the Penguin. Dude, when he was in the club and he was like, "Oh, Mr. Vengeance here wants to fucking," Yo, dude, I was fucking dying in the theater. I was like, he just called him Mr. Vengeance.
My favorite scene of his was when they had him tied up and they're trying to like figure out what's going on, and he's like, "You guys have the worst fucking Spanish I've ever heard."
Oh my god. He had like a couple of great one-liners, and like overall he was just like a really awesome portrayal of the Penguin. A lot of the times they either go like
Danny DeVito.
like they
Yeah,
go
They go
subtle and
way too
cheesy.
far.
yeah, and it's just like too far on either side, and I think this time they finally fucking got it right.
Yeah.
They got it right with everyone.
It's so
So it
crazy.
was just like
I would never have thought Colin Farrell though, like especially seeing Colin Farrell how he is, like just wow, makeup,
Like if I didn't know it was him, like
makeup and casting, like or just the
I had
cast
one
it.
reason to have no doubts that Colin Farrell would be perfect as Penguin, and that's because of his role in Horrible Bosses. Did you watch that movie?
yeah.
I don't even remember. I know I
Where he-
watched it.
Where he
They
was
had
like
him
the son of the owner of-
Overweight, balding, complete piece of shit.
Oh god, I gotta
Oh,
watch that
God.
again. I gotta watch
Yeah,
that again.
so
I don't remember
funny.
that.
Just Google Colin Farrell Horrible Bosses. It'll blow your mind what they did to him.
It was amazing. He's another one of those actors where he becomes like a chameleon, where you put him in a like makeup and he just you're like,
Gary
who the
Oldman.
fuck is this? Gary Oldman, like Christian Bale does it too, where with the weight that he like is just phenomenal shit. But he was
Think
so
about it. The Penguin is Bullseye.
yeah,
Just try to like wrap your head
I
around.
know, right?
with no Irish accent
Yeah.
or Scottish. I don't remember which one, but
I'm just
Whatever
picturing
the-
him stuck in a phone booth.
Oh, yes, that would be
Wow. Dang.
Oh man.
but yeah. Any more to say about the Penguin?
Are you guys looking forward to the show or
Yeah,
after
I'm
seeing the
fucking-
movie?
of course.
Yeah?
Like,
I
can't wait.
am. I'm not a show guy, so I'm not as excited as you guys. But I'm hoping it's
Also,
good.
they did the name of the lounge that's always comes up in the comic books.
Oh, the
and,
Iceberg
like,
Lounge, yeah.
the Iceberg Lounge.
And I love that there was a club within the club. What was it, the 44 Below? I was like,
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm like that's so
Yeah.
fucking.
She's like the real club.
All right, let's get into Batman's dancing partner in this movie.
The Riddler.
The Riddler.
Who wants to
My
start?
God, did they give justice to this character? Because Dan and I know how badass the Riddler can be from the comic books. Because we've seen Scott Snyder write one of the best Riddlers to ever like happen in comic books. So I was really blown away by Paul Dano's performance. I was really
So
blown away by this type of Riddler that he created. Like, and it's not a Riddler we've seen before, but like the psychology of the Riddler that he was able to produce in this movie was just phenomenal. He also took a little bit of the Joker's mentality, in the sense of at the end when he finally caught him, and he was talking to him behind the glass, and he's like, "We did this together. This was us." And then he was like, no, this was you. He's like, no, I was speaking to you. Like, it was almost like the same with like the Death in the Family, where Joker was like having like a love language, but it was like a one-way conversation.
He's like, I'll help
once-
solve this crime. Don't worry, Bruce.
It was like a one-sided conversation between him and like this imaginary Batman in his head. And so he took that and combined it with like the Riddler, and it just worked, and it was really, really fucking cool, man.
Yeah. I mean, I
Just
loved
to
how.
go ahead.
Go for it. No, you go.
just to go off what you're saying with like that one-sided conversation with Batman, I do think in this instance, him having that belief that him and Batman would have the same motivations and are trying to do the same things, it just further drives that point home that Batman is flawed in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
That honestly, if you don't know that Batman is Bruce Wayne, Riddler then is perfectly justified in believing that Batman and him are trying to accomplish the same goals and have the same concept of vengeance and justice in their mind. And I think that's the major difference between Riddler and Joker is Riddler is 100% about justice and fair. He's not about like chaos, right? Like he wants there to be retribution for the damage that has happened to him and others. Whereas Joker, I think, is like
no. So I'm not saying Riddler was like Joker. I'm saying so Joker always has this romantic.
Just in terms of that, yeah.
Just like this romantic, yeah. But also that scene when he was talking and he thought he was gonna out him as Bruce Wayne.
Oh my god, that
like
scene.
You can see the fear in Batman's eyes.
And on top of that, Bruce doesn't even come out the shadows. He just stays hidden. As soon as he walks in, it's like Bruce Wayne, and Bruce is like, "Oh, I fucked up." Like,
he was like,
and he's just hiding in the shadows, and then he just goes on Bruce Wayne, blah blah blah, this that the other. Go ahead.
If I understood that right, he still doesn't know that he's Bruce.
Oh,
Wayne.
he doesn't. No.
Okay, good. Okay.
At one point, he even says he's just like he's going on and on about Bruce, and he's like, and he's the only one that we let get away, and that's when Bruce comes out the light, and he's just like, oh, okay.
No, he was standing in front of him. He had come out. And Batman had come out, and he was he was watching because he was also looking at the camera.
Oh yeah,
seeing it being recorded. So he was already out of the shadows, and you can like see the fear in his fucking eyes. And it was so great on Robert Pattinson's part for being able to portray fear just in
he's
the eyes,
emoting with that mask on, like that's crazy.
Which was crazy. And then you see the fear, and as soon as he said, "Oh, he's the one we let get away," and then and at that moment he's like,
you just see it. He's just like, okay.
You see the fucking calm, that relief. He's like, okay, I can still be Batman. Thank God, I can be my true self. And I thought that's what the Riddler was gonna go for when he was talking about like, you have a mask and I have a mask, and that's our true selves. And then he's like, Bruce Wayne, you just gotta come out as your true self. But he didn't, and I was just like, oh shit. I was like, damn, they're really gonna fucking out him in this movie? Right. How are they gonna make a sequel? I was like, holy shit.
This ain't Marvel. These people actually have secret identities. But one thing I want to mention about the Riddler is I remember in the trailers when they were showing him off and stuff, and I was like, all right, this is cool, but it's like Riddler is badass. We all know he's badass, but he's not like this vicious. He's still goofy. And I love that throughout the movie, he's just like, oh, you don't fuck with this dude. He's badass. And then once you kindly get a little bit further into the movie, you realize he is still the goofy Riddler. And I love that he was still, had that.
When they finally did the password, and then he did the videos, and he was like talking to his Twitch channel. He's like, hey guys,
because he's not using the voiceover. Hey guys, thanks for the support. I really appreciate it.
Yo, that shit had me dying.
Don't forget to like, subscribe.
Yeah.
You know that's how the Capitol riots happened.
Like, hell yeah.
That's.
Dude, he was so good.
I actually liked his riddles. I know it's like stupid because he's the Riddler, but his riddles were actually like the first riddle, like, what do liars do when they're dead or something? They lie still. Yeah. I was like, damn. I just need to take a second in that theater. Like, wow.
I do have one riddle, just one riddle.
I also like the justice riddle. Batman got that so fast. I was like, you're so smart, Batman.
Well, that's why the Riddler loves his confrontation with Batman, because he's the only one that can solve his riddles. He's the only one that's like quick enough to like get his riddles. So he's like, you're my like intellectual equal at some point.
I mean, I'm sorry, my biggest what was it? The El Rata Elada?
El Rata Elada. Yeah.
How the fuck do you pull up URL out of his ass?
Because it said the note said.
No, I get it. I get what you're saying, but it's like you wouldn't get to URL from that.
If you say it out loud, it's URL.
URL Rata Elada. I get that. Would you really get URL out of saying URL Rata Elada from out loud? Like, be real.
I think it's okay because this movie ended up giving us the best penguin scene trying to get to that moment.
Yeah.
And like these, and they were struggling with it for a long time, and they were like Rata, like Batman, Falcone, like Falcon.
I was
Penguin,
screaming
right? Like,
Falcone the whole fucking time. By the way, I was like, he flies.
They made that a website. Apparently, there's
it
a
is.
sequel.
Yeah, there's.
I went there and it didn't work for me. It said loading 89%. I clicked on another website. It said there's supposed to be a countdown.
So they gave like codes and stuff, and they just their dates and issue numbers of like specific comic books of like when certain villains and stuff were introduced. And
I don't know if you guys saw the after credits, but that thing for the movie.
Yeah,
I clicked it because it said reward or something, and then loading 89%. And when I clicked reward, it gave me like this red picture that looked like a key riddle thing, like I had to solve. And I was just like,
well, there are riddles to solve on that site. From what I heard, there was a bunch of riddles. Like this site was already out before the movie came out, so you could go on there, you could solve it, and then they might have added more once the movie finally released.
So also the cards that he got, that Batman got, also the things that were on them related to other villains. It was hinting to other villains. Like the girl with the red hair was Poison Ivy, and there was like a couple others. Dan, now I want to ask you if you noticed the other villains that were
hinted at. You mean like Hush and the Court of Owls?
Yes. I also think there's one more. And I could be 100% wrong about this.
Who is it?
So I think Bane was also hinted.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah,
right.
Clearly,
yes, right.
When was
remember
that?
the green juice that he
injected himself
fucking
with?
stabbed himself with?
Batman.
Oh, you think that's okay? I guess
in the comics, at one point, Batman was addicted to venom, and then Bane showed up after that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's amazing.
So I think so. Yeah,
and I saw how it was like green. I was like, it's probably adrenaline, but it's like it's green though.
Yeah. So as soon as I saw that it was green, as soon as I thought it was green, I was like, oh, I'm like, it would be awesome if Batman is the one that invented it, and then it gets stolen or gets on the streets somehow.
Yeah.
And then Venom takes it and brings it to the next level. And then
because if I remember correctly, that's kind of what happened. He went to Santa Prisca or whatever in the comics to do whatever. He had to go fight in the jail, and then that's where he finds like the venom, and then he kind of I think he had to like use it, and then he was like, I'm gonna take this back to Gotham. I'm gonna Bane is developing a much more sinister version of Venom, and then later on, I don't know how many storylines later, Bane shows up to Gotham.
And the reason why I also like when I first saw it, I was just like that could be, but once he used it and then he went berserker, I was like, that's Venom.
Yeah, he was about to kill the dude, and they had to pull him off.
That has to be.
Yeah,
I was like, that has to be. So and then like Hush, based on his father, Thomas, was it Thomas Elliot?
It was Thomas Elliot is Hush. And I forgot who the father. They said the father's name.
Yeah, the father's name something Elliot, and then you have Tommy Elliot who becomes Hush later on. You had
Riddler was gonna end up being Hush. Like when they showed that,
Elliot's son.
because it was just like I was like, I really thought they were gonna go down that route.
Didn't do that.
Because now Hush is in the world.
Yes, which is fantastic. Yeah,
I love that.
I can't wait for that. And then Court of Owls, which is something they said that they wanted to do, which I think Matt Reeves would be the perfect person to do Court of Owls. Like, and
it would fit perfectly because it's like, especially when they Catwoman's going inside the club. People, and you see once again Robert Pattinson, great acting with a suit on. You see his reaction. He's like, "Wait a second, like that's the DA. That person he's a cop." And it's like, and then you see it's like it opens his mind. It's like everybody's fucking corrupt.
Yep.
Perfect lead-in to Court of Owls.
Yep.
Oh, and it was just like, oh, that's like, I can't wait for the sequel. I did very much dislike the Joker scene. They should not have been in this movie.
Thank you. That's exactly what I told him.
Should not have been in this.
Get the franchise building out of here. The movie's too perfect on its own. Focus on your Riddler.
And Matt Reeves went and confirmed that it is indeed the Joker too. So I was like,
proto Joker.
Yeah.
Like,
I want to say that was a corporate thing of like get him in there.
Probably.
I don't think it was necessary, and I thought it just a tad bit cheapened the Riddler.
To me,
they should have focused on him.
To me, I don't think it because it was just like so quick. And like it did, he had to laugh. He was like he mentioned clown, and it was just like all right for the comic book nerds, it's like, oh shit, you know, but
That's
for
not
like
for
every
the comic book nerds. That's for the mainstream nerds.
I am the comic book nerd, and I didn't like it. Like,
Yeah,
everybody knows. That's like this. It's for the mainstream nerds. The same way Joseph Gordon-Levitt said his name is fucking Robin. All right,
Yeah.
that's
okay,
because it's true face value. Like we get it. We don't.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
I
love
get what
the
you guys
actor.
are saying, but
That
I didn't.
actor's amazing that they're gonna have as the Joker.
Yeah, I don't know him, but everybody says that he is.
Who is
He
it?
can do
Who is
no
it?
wrong. His name is. I can't pronounce. His
I'm not
last
gonna
name,
know names.
He's
What
the
was
dude.
he in?
He's the dude in Eternals that
I
has
heard
mind
that.
control over everyone.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He can play a very twisted character. He's a movie
He
called The
looks
Killing
like
of a
it,
Sacred
yeah.
Deer, where he was literally a very twisted character.
Nice.
A couple last things. We were talking about the Riddler and how you guys really loved that. Like they showed a little bit of his goofiness. Specifically on that, like that intro, the one horror moment for me was the killing of that senator or whatever.
When he pops up out of nowhere, like that's straight out of a horror movie.
Yeah, like, and he's there
With
in
the
darkness
breathing and everything,
and the camera stays on him, and I thought that was very well done. But specifically showing to his character, he's quiet the whole time. And then when he goes for the kill, he wails. It's this loud, emotional, like
I thought he also tripped.
And
yeah.
So
it made me
shows
think
you,
of
like,
Scream.
This is
Because Ghostface is an idiot who trips over everything.
Yeah, he's not a trained killer.
Yeah.
He's emotional. He's afraid, and it's a crime of passion as he's doing it, and it shows how human his character is. And I don't know. I like that a lot.
Good.
No, it was.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, every aspect of this movie was so well thought out and so well executed that it's just like it. I'm so happy I was like able to fucking see it, like after like all of Corona, all of like the war, whatever, and I was just like I was able to finally go to the theater. This movie came out, I saw it, and I was able to thoroughly enjoy every second of it, and I was just so happy with this movie. It was just like.
Yeah. Dude, I wish it was longer. I'm not gonna lie. I know
a lot of apparently
people were just
there was a 4-hour cut of it. You know,
be so good.
Yeah, but
well, there's supposedly a scene with the Joker
talk about
Batman.
Oh, sorry. Oh, really?
Yeah, Matt Reeves did say that there was a scene that was filmed that is probably going to come out on the Blu-ray, where supposedly Batman goes to Arkham to kind of like try to talk to Joker to see if he could figure out what's going on with the Riddler. Think like Hannibal Lecter, basically.
Oh, nice.
So he's going to Joker to talk about that. So there is already a built-in history between
a relationship,
Batman and Joker.
That's what I mentioned to you, Rusty, when we were talking.
But like maybe there's already something there.
Yeah.
Then
maybe that was his
you
first
said you
villain.
wanted to talk about Gotham itself, and
Yes.
I'd like to just take a minute to talk about that with you too. The one thing I'd want to say just to start that off is like, again, this was from that Matt Reeves interview. It's like his take on the Batcave, I think, is absolutely genius on multiple levels here. Like he specifically said, so like the Batcave in this instance was an abandoned Wayne-funded train terminal, like a underground train terminal beneath Gotham City itself. And I thought that was wonderful. So I'm assuming this has something to do with like the renewal, and maybe this is so it's a giant symbol of the failed renewal, right? It's the failed dream of Gotham and the realities of how rotten Gotham is. And more importantly, his Batcave exists beneath the city that he's living in. It lives beneath the grime. And Reeves said specifically, he's no longer, my Batman is not a Batman that lives in the suburbs, goes to the city to fight crime, and then retreats back to the suburbs. My Batman belongs to Gotham. And I just...
It's also perfect if it isn't abandoned railways. It's also a perfect way for Batman to get around quickly.
It's so much more logical.
It makes so much more sense,
right? Like he can get wherever he needs to get.
Yeah.
It's
that makes perfect sense. But I mean, I truly love the just so lived in. You know, it's like I've never seen a Gotham like this in any other movie exist, and just everything about it, like just for example, Riddler's apartment, which is literally right outside the club, and it's like that's what he I feel like he is smart, yes, but he's one of those people that thinks he's so much smarter than he really is, and that is the Riddler. And it's just like you see him going out there, it's like I know all these secrets and this, that, and the other, and it's like one big thing is he's just like, oh look, this guy came in. Oh, let me write that down, and he's like, he notes and he's saying, oh look at these high like, society people going into this schemy underground like club. But you have that, then like even the church had like this old like gothic like look to it and everything, which is Gotham, and it was just this Gotham was just I mean I love the '89 Batman Gotham, but it didn't like it fit the world, but at the same time it didn't fit that Batman. Like this one was perfect. Like this Batman and this Gotham, like they together very, very well.
How I imagine this is actually literally if you take 89 Gotham and you give it a really shitty economy for 25, 30 years, this is the Gotham that it ends up becoming.
I can see that.
And like if you look at their Times Square, it's very small and the streets are fucking cobblestone. It was never re-turfed with like proper like modern infrastructure. And like they kept returning to the same skyscraper scene with that shot of the horizon, right? And in the horizon, from the very first image they released, that was like you see Batman's like ears and he's looking out over the fucking. You see these buildings are skeletons of skyscrapers. The construction just completely halted. So it's like a graveyard of a city.
Yeah, so that's where Batman and Gordon kept meeting, was like in a midway constructed skyscraper.
Yeah.
Version of Madison Square Garden, like I mean, I didn't go to architecture school. I don't know anything, but if you're surrounded by water, is it a good idea to have a stadium kind of like just underneath?
In case you didn't know, when New York City floods, we all got to go to Madison Square Garden. We got to run there.
Yeah. It's Madison Square Garden like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I feel like I know you're joking. I get it, but it's like it's just that's one of those things where it's just like that just shows how fucking.
So I don't know. Let's end off this conversation with the beautiful cinematography of this movie. And one of my favorite scenes was when Batman fell into the water, got out, got the people, pulled out the fucking flare, was leading them through the water, and you had that overhead shot. One of the most beautiful scenes I've ever fucking seen. And again, this is his transition from being fear and vengeance to hope of the city. He was,
right? In the first lines of the movie, he said he literally was the shadows, right?
Yeah.
And what is he at the end? He literally is the light leading people
right?
out.
So it was so phenomenal. And there was other such beautiful scenes and like cinematography, but I think this one is the one that stood out to me the most. Just absolutely phenomenal.
That was an amazing scene. Like you said, just the sheer symbolism of it, and it was just great to watch. Just seeing him like with a torch, just leading the way. That was awesome, man.
Well,
for me,
one
it was
scene
just cinematography throughout. In terms of one stylistic choice that he chose for the whole movie is extremely like shallow depth of field for every single shot. So no matter what on screen, usually like anywhere from like 10 to 20% of the screen is like in focus and the rest is out of focus. He's controlling exactly where he wants your
attention
eye to be at all times, and I just appreciated that. It made everything feel more constricted, more intense, more like investigative.
He didn't want you to get distracted by whatever. He's like, pay attention to what these people are saying.
Look here.
Pay attention to their interactions.
No, one of the scenes I loved was the fight in the shadows where the only light.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
I mean, it's like
again. Why'd you have to put it in the trailer?
I was talking to Nadia about that scene. I was like, I think it's just like interesting that like this. I keep seeing the scene over and over, and it gets redone in different styles, and it's beautiful every single time if it's done right. We got to see it with Darth Vader in Rogue One. We got to see it in Old Boy. We got to see it in whatchamacallit. Fuck. What was the other one?
What did we see it with lights in Old Boy?
It wasn't lights. It was
It's
just
not
like
the lights,
way it
but
was
it's like
happening.
the one like
It
The
was
corridor,
like
the one
very
corridor.
small,
yeah.
But
you know,
but
fight
Old Boy was not a perspectival shot down.
No,
the
it was
hallway.
a- it was
Old Boy was a section cut.
Yeah.
it's the same concept. It's not like visually
Of
like not the camera
like
angles,
it's
but
me
it's
and
like
you
that
in
scene.
this line and
Yeah. And then there was another similar and then
Superman
Daredevil
did that in Superman and Lois. I think Bizarro did that in the recent episode. They did like a corridor like scene,
Did they?
and then Bizarro killed everybody.
No, man, it's so good. But like this one, it's like it's like it's just pitch black, and then you just see the lights off the gunshots. I'm like, oh my god, it was just so fucking good. It was just
Also, I like how sorry, I just keep thinking of things.
that's fine. Go for it.
I think it was interesting because he's in year 2 and he was trained by Alfred. I don't know if he got trained by other people as well, but you can kind of see his level of fighting, right? He depends a lot on his armor because he got shot a lot and he
just
got
taking
knocked
hits,
on his
yeah.
That's
he
what
got
I was
knocked on
gonna
his
say.
ass.
Props
He
to
got
his
knocked-
armor. He got shot like
Yeah.
a million times by shotguns too. Like that.
And then
that's
he
no
like
joke.
fainted
I'm well up
twice.
in his face.
yeah.
And he fainted twice. And it's just like, and that's a testament to him being Gear 2 Batman. He's still not there where he's there to avoid, he's where he's being reactive instead of like, I'm just gonna brawl. You know what I mean? Where he's,
And he's relentless.
yeah.
He's
Here
very
he's just
Daredevil.
like, here it's just pure anger driving him in the beginning. And I think hopefully they do this in the next movie. Obviously, Matt Reeves is a very smart person, and they probably will do this. I think we'll get to see a growth in his fighting style, and where we won't see him being tagged that much in the next movie in the sequel, hopefully.
Yeah.
But
Man,
yeah,
he's still
that's
developing
another
his
thing that I
Batman.
thought was like cool. Yeah.
I want to see them bring his little his forearm
Yes.
blades back.
Yeah, he
Those
also
would be-
had those like spikes that he never used.
I was waiting for him
Just
to
like-
use those too. I was like,
Well, isn't that? I think that was where the grapple hook shot
That's
out of,
his.
wasn't it?
That's the
Oh,
grapple hooks.
yeah.
Yeah. Those
Oh.
are collapsed grapples.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
and then he
that-
shoots his arm out, and then like it comes out.
The gun that
That
comes out and then
makes
it's
total sense.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I was like, what the fuck?
I thought it was
Okay.
like a shooter. Like each tube was like a
Like-
different. Yeah.
It was the thing from the Mandalorian, it's the thing that Mando has. The,
Yeah.
All the rockets pop out.
Yeah. Start
Oh,
shooting
man.
gout from his knees.
So if you guys are down to hear it, actually, my friend and I have been texting and brainstorming back and forth since the day we got out of the theater watching it. We've been putting together our own like bullet points pitch of what we'd like to see in the sequel.
Oh yeah,
I don't
go
know if you
for it.
want.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's do a hot
so-
take. Why not?
My thing was like I'm really not that interested in the Joker just because
no,
of how
stay away
recently
from
it's been done.
yeah.
What I really want, and I already have my dream casting for it too. I want Dr. Victor Fries. I want Mr. Freeze.
Oh, freeze.
Freeze.
Wait,
Yeah.
what? Dr.
Yeah.
Victor, what?
Freeze.
Freeze.
Oh, okay. I heard fries. Maybe that was a
Yeah,
glitch.
is that not
It's
his real name?
spelled fries. It's pronounced freeze.
Oh,
It is
Oh,
Freeze.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
yeah,
bad.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
No, that's fine. DC's
Yeah,
weird
Fries
like
kinda
that.
sucks.
Mr. Mixes Pitalik is a character. Like, come on.
Oh, geez.
No vowels.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I want a like a gritty, more like realistic take on Freeze, and the way I'm imagining how we like would work this into a new movie with what they've set up in this first one. There's a couple things. Essentially, I want Bruce Wayne to choose to start helping as Bruce Wayne instead of being an angry Bruce Wayne.
and I think
So
that's
he
what's
did-
going to happen
and he
based on
decides
what's happened in this movie.
in his mother's name to establish the Arkham Asylum. And he establishes the Arkham Asylum and he starts hiring the best doctors that he can and the best psychiatrists that he can. And so characters start showing up in Asylum, including Hugo Strange. But I think Freeze will show up there as well. And
Dr. Harleen Quinzel.
hmm And my idea essentially is that Freeze Freeze has been obviously his wife is in cryo. He's doing everything he can desperately to try to save her, and the Court of Owls has been watching him and knows about his abilities and how close he is to finding a serum that will not only save his wife, but a serum that could give everlasting life or close to everlasting life. And they decide to sponsor him through threat of killing him if he doesn't do exactly what they want when they want. And that's going to and Freeze is going to take that as an opportunity because that will give him an option to get closer to saving his wife. And I think he will start, in order to get the testing done faster, to meet the Court of Owls' demands, he will start testing on subjects within Arkham Asylum, one of which would be the Joker himself. And I'm just imagining the story could keep going from there.
I would see the Court of Owls taking his wife, taking that cryopod and like keeping it, and they're like,
to force him to work
like a hostage.
Leverage.
That's the only way you're gonna have Freeze working as fast as possible. You take her.
Exactly. It's some threat. I think that's
exactly.
Too. Make sure we keep. You don't get to save your wife until you give us what we want. I think that would work great. But and my casting for Freeze is Mads Mikkelsen.
Who's that? I'm sorry.
I love him.
I don't know
Hannibal
names.
Lecter. Hannibal Lecter.
Oh yeah. Okay.
He's such a good actor, man. He's so good.
I'm feeling that.
And he has that face.
I feel like as creepy as he is, as terrifying as he is, which is perfect for Freeze, he's also incredibly empathetic when he wants to be, and you need that.
Listen. I love this so much, and I would love to see that Batman the Animated Series Mr. Freeze monologue. Where
I don't even.
It was so hauntingly beautiful. Please go, if you don't know it, just go watch it.
I'll look it up. Yeah.
It's so hauntingly beautiful. And the voice actor that did it,
the voice actor for Freeze in the Batman animated series.
My goodness.
I mean, I love Kevin Conroy. I love Mark Hamill and everything, but that man, I don't even know his name, and I'm upset. But that man deserves so much credit.
I definitely got to check it out.
It was amazing. And like the Batman the Animated Series, there's a lot of things that were like hauntingly beautiful and like very very thought-provoking, like the whole the robot Bruce Wayne that became conscious and ended up killing itself, almost in the same sense as what's that movie with Harrison Ford?
Star
Blade
Wars.
Runner?
Yes. Where he doesn't know
Star
if
Wars.
he's no not Star Wars.
Indiana Jones.
No, you said it, Rusty.
Blade Runner.
No, not the Fugitive.
Call of the Wild.
Blade Runner.
He's just naming
Indiana
Harrison
Jones.
Ford movies.
He's being a dick. Listen, man, my Alzheimer's is an all-time high.
It took you a minute.
Right?
You just.
But yeah, like almost in that sense, and again, something that was very like beautiful and not for kids, but it's just like stories that they. Very powerful stories that they told, and Mr. Freeze was one of the best ones, and like the art style back then too was just like phenomenal. So definitely go check that out. I think it'll fit perfectly with your pitch, and I love your pitch too. I think that would be a great next villain too.
Yeah, I would love to see justice done for Freeze.
I would love to see Dr. Fries.
Exactly.
He teams up with the Condiment Man.
Dude, I was about to say the Condiment King. Like
Condiment King. Yeah.
I got myself excited when I thought of Mads Mikkelsen. I just feel like he can do no wrong.
He would kill that role. I would.
Yeah.
I want to see that now. Actually,
how about what's his name is Hugo Strange? Hans Landau, the actor.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
What's
yes,
his name? I'm
amazing.
blanking on it right now.
Nicky Lauda, Zemo, that guy.
The guy from
you're talking about Zemo, right?
I don't know what that is.
No, he's talking about the
Hans
guy
Landa.
from Inglourious Bastard.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, I'm
False.
sorry. I'm thinking of
Christoph Waltz.
I'm thinking of another.
I'm thinking Christoph
of
Waltz.
Zemo who played. Yeah. No, he'd be amazing as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking of Zemo from the Marvel movies, which I also think would be
I don't know who that
as
is.
any kind of a villain. Okay. But yeah, Christoph Waltz would absolutely kill it. You make him bald with the round
Exactly.
glasses.
With the glasses. That's what I'm saying.
And the beard, yeah.
Yes.
He would kill it.
I can see that.
Absolutely. I love that.
All right. Listen, guys, we can talk about this movie for another 3 hours. But I think it's a good stopping point for this podcast. We're almost going to 3 hours here, or around 2.5 hours. But I love having this conversation. This movie was one of the best, if not the best, Batman movie so far. Dan, I hope we've changed your mind a little bit on this movie.
I
But
definitely want to watch it again a few more times, actually, just to
Yeah.
Good.
catch that little bit I fell asleep on, and also just to just try to like keep those ideas that you like said pretty much, and kind of keep
Yeah.
them in my perspective on watching. Because I'm not like the biggest Batman fan. I'm just a regular Joe. Like I know about Batman a little bit, but I'm not like you guys. Like, apparently, so from a regular Joe's perspective, I thought it was kind of long, but it was definitely a good movie. I am a good avid movie watcher, so I do like it for what it is as a movie.
I definitely need to watch this movie another couple times. It
Absolutely.
definitely deserves that. This is a type of movie where you can go back into it and notice new things
Yeah.
that you didn't see before. So I'm super excited about that.
I-
Let's jump.
Final thoughts.
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
Final thoughts.
I
Let's
guess this
jump
will be
into
my final
thoughts.
thought. This will be my final thought. This is a PG-13 movie. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh wow,
tell me you didn't feel like it was a rated R movie.
it felt really gritty for a PG-13. Not gonna
I know.
lie.
Yeah.
And there was no blood, which is crazy when you think about it. There was absolutely no blood in this movie. Just a violent, angry Batman. And
No wonder he wasn't throwing
PG-13.
batarangs.
Yeah. Well, the one time it threw me off was when he was beating the one guy at the end who ended up being the guy from the church, and then he takes off his mask. So he was
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Oh, I
No,
thought
he's
he
not
was
that-
messed up. I like that.
I mean, he
Like
looked
he
messed up,
had
but I was
bruises.
expecting
Yeah,
like, just a
Yeah,
bloody
a
like-
crushed skull.
yeah, yeah.
and he just takes his mask off. I'm vengeance. I'm vengeance. It's okay.
Disco, your final thoughts.
Just in general about the movie.
Anything.
Just talk about life,
Final
you know.
thoughts, bro.
Tell us about
Final
your life.
thoughts.
Final
What are your
thoughts.
final thoughts on life?
Oh man, I'm hitting 30. I'm having one of them 30 moments this week. Yo, my shoulder started hurting for no goddamn reason. Yo, I think it's because I was trying to hammer a nail in my class, and it was like a weird angle. Yo, that just started hurting for. And then
He said I was trying to hammer a nail. Holy shit.
and then to top it all off, once my shoulder started feeling better, my elbow started hurting. For that one, I have no idea. I couldn't I'm literally wearing like an elbow brace right now. I couldn't like extend my elbow. I felt so old. I couldn't reach for
I think I'm
things.
about to die now. Holy shit.
I was like a T-Rex, just like trying to reach for shit. It was like, just gotta use my left. I'm not a lefty. And
Oh
so
my
I'm
goodness.
just excited to see what else is gonna fall apart on me.
I love this podcast so much.
Oh my goodness. Rusty, your final thoughts.
Yeah, man. Best Batman movie. I love what Matt Reeves is doing with it. I think he's the truest fan that we've had of Batman, who really understands the source material and respects how deep you can go with Batman. And I loved what he did with the Planet of the Apes. I think he absolutely reinvented that and made that shit
Those
amazing.
movies were phenomenal.
So I'm nothing but excited for what he brings like next. With the Batman movie.
I've seen some of my final thoughts. I completely agree with you, Rusty. Not just the respect to the source material. I think he's also a huge fan of the source material to be able to do something this well with it. It's just like and I completely forgot what my thought was. But that's how I do in
You're
final
getting old,
thoughts.
too.
You have no idea.
This
son.
is kind of par for the course for Eslam when it comes to final
this
thoughts.
is
At this
just
point,
how
we're
I
just
do my
getting
final
we're just getting like just empty shell Eslam. Just try to get through
It's
it.
like who are you guys? Like,
Literally-
what am I doing here?
Literally heard his brain turn off. He's just like, he like
Why is
skipped.
the little people on this screen?
What is happening right
He
now?
just starts getting real close.
I swear to God, I completely forgot what my thought was. Trying to like go off of what Rusty said. I think it was about the Batman. I have no idea at this point. But thank you for listening to the Los Wise Guys
Batman's
podcast.
good.
Thank you for listening to the Los Wise Guys podcast. If you like what you hear,
bad.
if you like what you hear, follow us on social media, like, subscribe, share, rate, review. Go check out the Los Wise Guys website. Go check out our YouTube channel. Content going up every Monday, and then clips going out here after. Yeah, thank you for listening, and have a great week.